Welcome to more Auburn iRacing here from Darlington, South Carolina this week. It's more CIL Cup action, and Keegan, this is the first time we've matched up with the IRL track in NASCAR Cup Series. We saw the Darlington race yesterday. It was high horsepower, low downforce, and it was more Tyler Reddick, Keegan. And though we have no Tyler Reddick today, we do have the same more horsepower and lower downforce, so should be quite the exciting race tonight.
Yeah, I mean, just like the Cup drivers yesterday, kind of new to that whole experience and new to that package, especially at a track as tricky as Darlington. Well, these CIL guys are in the same seat pretty much, so it's going to be very interesting. I think we're going to have a lot of action on the racetrack, both in battles, guys in the wall. If you thought we said into the wall a lot last week, or if you even watched the race yesterday, I mean, buckle up. It's going to be fun, but there's going to be a lot of action-packed battles, and I'm excited to see what these guys can do.
I am as well. You're seeing qualifying on your screen right now. We're keeping track of it. You see Logan Smith, one of your 4 Auburn drivers. Again, your 4 Auburn competitors tonight. Logan Smith in the 34, Ryan Smith will be in the 82, Andrew McGill in the 034, and then Reese Bayham in the 334. A reminder, Bayham is your points leader, enters the day with a 35-point lead over last week's winner, Brian Ferwetta. Reese won at Chicago round 2 of this season. Said he's feeling good. He feels like this car and package suits his driving style. And Keegan, I have it on good authority from teammate Logan Smith that Reese might have, quote, a reservation at Gapplebee's for tonight.
Yeah, we were watching practice right before we started speaking about this race, and he was sitting top 3 in practice, ran one of the most laps out of anybody in practice. He was up there around 75 laps, but top 3 in laps, and as far as his time goes. So, yeah, it looks to be pretty fast. Let's see if he can get a good qualifying run.
Yeah, and I think the thing for Reese is he's so good on the long runs compared to a lot of these other guys in this kind of environment. We're going to see some high attrition, so I don't know how many long runs we'll get tonight, but if we do get one, I'd watch out for that 334. But you'll see the 18 of James Bowman at the top of your leaderboard right now. Bowman's been quick this year, does have a pole position on the season, but has struggled for finishes a little bit recently. At Auto Club, got taken out in a wreck that wasn't really his fault after running top 5 most of the night. And then at Kentucky, didn't quite have the pace we necessarily expected from him at that track. But maybe he can bounce back tonight and get a good finish as we see Logan Smith now. Logan mentioned he felt like all these cars had just very little grip with the new adjustments to this package. Logan comes in 16th in the standings, your opening round winner at Charlotte. And off the back of last week where he got absolutely obliterated on a restart, Keegan.
And well, as you see on your leaderboard, Reese Bayham just took pole from James Bowman on his last and final qualifying lap. So the speed we talked about, the practice, the time he spent to take the practice, it's paying off so far.
Absolutely is. And you see Logan right now in 14th, Andrew McGill 13th, Ryan Smith down in 19th. So all of your Auburn drivers in the top 20 right now. But run you through the penalties for tonight. Christian Garish of UNOH has an end-of-line penalty for tonight, as does Thomas Coonan. And then we have a 1-race suspension for the 31 of Ronan Suarez, who has been acting a little bit too much like a missile on the racetrack recently, Keegan. So you're going to get hit with that 1-week suspension anytime that happens. And then with a 1-lap hold today, it'll be Aaron Brown of Eastern Shore Community College. And Brown was the guy who ran into Logan on the restart last week and took him out and then subsequently spun him on the next restart. We mentioned there was a car spinning at the back of the field. Well, it was Logan when Brown got into him again. But that will wrap up qualifying. Edward Sanchez takes the pole. Sanchez this year does have a win. It was at Daytona. He currently sits 7th in the standings. So not a slouch by any means. You see Reese is going to join him on the front row. And the restarts and starts have been a point of contention. As we saw Kentucky when Brown tried to restart in first gear. That was when he spun out and took Logan with him. This week, it's a decision between second and third gear. Apparently, second is more difficult to control. You have to be really gentle with it. But some drivers are worried that third gear, you'll just be too slow off the line, Keegan. So as we go through this 5-minute warm-up here, it'll be interesting to see as we get started who chooses what gear and how it goes.
Yeah, well, I mean, the predictability of this race, I mean, you think you're going to have a lot of restarts and a lot of practice on restarts earlier in the race and a lot of chances. But with a lot of chances to get better at restarts, you also have a lot of chances to make mistakes on restarts. And we've seen kind of these restarts be more prone to mistakes in this league so far earlier in the season. As the season goes on, guys get more handle for the car and their setups and things like that. You expect to get better, but a lot of restarts maybe today, so a lot of practice and/or chances for these guys to make mistakes, and we'll see how they handle that.
I will say I do like the new livery on this 248 for Brian Ferwetta this week. We've seen him with the mostly blacked out car for the races so far, but coming off the back of a win, Embry-Riddle upgraded the paint job for Ferwetta on that 248. He is currently second in points, closest to Bayham right now, 35 points back. He and Reese are the only two drivers so far this season with 3 podium finishes, Keegan, each trying to make it 4 tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, it's spring Darlington, you know? It's been throwback weekend for years and years and years now. That kind of doesn't really exist anymore. But
hey, we had some boogity.
Yeah, but we have some. Yeah, we did. That was great. But even tonight, we have some, what looks like to be some kind of like hints at throwback schemes, if you will, even in the CIL Cup Series, which is fun to see.
Well, I didn't catch the number on it in practice, but we saw a great Ryan Blaney Dutch Boy paint scheme.
I saw Blaney. I saw Keselowski.
Yeah, the Miller Lite Keselowski scheme. I believe that was on the 6 of Robbie Hotchkiss, which was, I think, for me, a scheme of the week so far on that number 6 car.
I haven't seen anything better, so I'm right there with you.
As we got some contact
some
and
bump drafting.
You know, got to test out the integrity of these rear bumpers and the front splitters and everything.
It worked for Tyler Reddick yesterday, so maybe these guys are trying, that strategy. Open the front end a little bit.
Tell you who it didn't work for was Denny Hamlin running over Eric Jones and taking out one of his cars in Bubba Wallace.
That is true.
I have a feeling we might see a little bit more of that second scenario tonight. Hopefully everyone takes it easy. You see the 40 of Matt Gagnon right now. Gagnon's having a pretty solid season so far this year, under the radar. No podium finishes, but sits 6th in the standings. So Mr. Consistency right here. You see he has his @ on the side of the car. One great thing about iRacing, Keegan, is you can plug your own branding on iRacing.
You can put whatever you want on the car. You can put your dad's Instagram on the car if you wanted to, your grandma's Facebook. So great. I mean, you can just go all out if you want to.
Well, University of New Hampshire also getting the real estate on the hood of that Matt Gagnon mobile. I will say we have one of my favorite cars in the field back to the Kansas State drivers with their bright green wheels. I think is an underrated.
No Penske painting the rims.
Yeah, I miss when Penske did that. The red rims that you used to get on the 22 car I thought looked great. We have a car backwards on pit road of Andrew Voigt. There it is. There's the Ryan Blaney car. That's number 37 of Lee Winters from Vincennes University. I think that car looks great, Keegan. I will say, I think I would have gone with white numbers, but then again, I'm not the one driving the car, so.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still. I appreciate the just throwing it back and put a new scheme on there for this week.
Yeah.
That one's a good. The Rocky Top Machine, Matthew Head, that one's a good car as well.
And that car's been here pretty much every week. We've seen a little more gray on it in the past, and with more of a blackout look did Ethan Head this week, but hold on to it. Madison Ulrich trying to hold on to that one.
Oh, just about saved it. Oh, kept it off the wall.
Kept it off the wall. Here it is. Here's scheme of the week. Robbie Hotchkiss in the number 6 Miller Lite car. This thing, Keegan, it looks awesome.
I love everything to the gold banner on the back. Just having the beer get poured into the glass on the side of the cup. It's amazing.
I will say it does bring back bad memories. Someone who grew up a Jimmy Johnson fan. That's the car that beat him to the 2012 championship. He could have been the undisputed king of NASCAR on championships. I'll preface that on championships. But
we got a Valorant car. Have you played much Valorant?
I have never played Valorant.
Yeah, I've never played Valorant either. I've heard good things and terrible things about it. I've heard it brings out the best in people and the worst in people. But I mean, I think iRacing does that from time to time as well, and you're probably familiar with that if you race at iRacing and get into some lobbies with some questionable folks. But it's all part of the sport, part of the love of the game, I guess.
Well, I will say the racing so far in this series from the races that I've got to commentate, Keegan, are much different than the iRacing lobbies that I'm in. It's mostly cleaner racing. You see some incidents from time to time, obviously, still. But
well, if I'm not mistaken, Micah, you started 2 weeks ago, so you may be in those rookie lobbies just having some bad luck.
Well, yeah, I am in rookie lobbies right now. I've only done about 6 different events, and 2 of them. One of them I was leading and got crashed out by a lap car, which was just ultimate frustration.
Oh, if I had $1 for every time that happened.
Yeah. Anyways, we're getting ready to go here. Appreciate you all tuning in today. We're excited for hopefully a great race at Darlington. Hopefully we don't get too much carnage despite the expectations, but There's a look at your main man for tonight for Auburn iRacing, Reese Bayham, lining up second. We'll see if that reservation to Gapplebee's was held up by the restaurant.
Well, I mean, Chili's is the hot restaurant in NASCAR right now, but Applebee's, you'd be a nice change of pace.
Well, Keegan, you got to remember the Hardy sponsorship for Bubba Wallace, too.
Have we even seen that?
Yeah, we saw it was like a black car with yellow on the sides, I believe.
That's right.
So definitely an interesting look for the 2311 Mobile is maybe, you never know, you put the Hardy's car on the track, you'll be as fast as Tyler Reddick one day.
I mean, dude, they got into the team at the right time, Hardy's did.
They definitely did it. McDonald's leaving, and immediately they win like every race too. But let's get ready to go for this CIL Cup race at Darlington. Starting spots for your Auburn drivers: Reese Bayham, we've mentioned him, he'll roll off second. Logan Smith will roll off sixth. Andrew McGill will roll off 15th, and then Ryan Smith will round out your top 20 today for Auburn. Keegan, all four Auburn drivers, once again, where it feels like they always are living in the top 20.
Yeah, they had a good week last week in Kentucky. Seemed to be carrying the momentum into Darlington. And Reese Bayham, he may be starting second, but he's on the outside. So all he's got to do is get a good restart and carry the momentum into and out of the corner and keep it clean off the wall. And he may get out to an early lead.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about iRacing, Keegan, is the mechanic for the starts of these races. You're usually on the inside for these oval races, and at Darlington, you usually want that outside line on the restart. So we'll see how it goes for Reese Bayham. I do want to give a shout out to Austin DeLong in the 222 Pennsylvania College of Technology. We have not seen him as much up around the front, but starting outside row 2 tonight, that I would bet is some qualifying bravery. But 147 laps or an hour and 45 minutes on your session. Keaton, we were talking pre-race. I think we might hit the hour 45. Pace car's going to pull in.
We're all going to find out now.
We're getting ready to go. It's the 26 of Edward Sanchez to lead him to green. Reese Bayham on the outside. James Bowman and Austin DeLong behind him into the restart zone. And we are underway here at Darlington for CIL Cup racing. Are we going to get a wreck on the start? Looks like everyone's handled it so far. We're going to head off into turn 1. Bayham, trying to get around the outside of Sanchez, is promptly squeezed up into the wall, but going to hang out there, still trying to keep alongside with James Bowman for second. Remember, Bowman was fastest in practice today. Bowman and Bayham going to stay side by side into 3. Bayham trying to hang it out on this outside line, but we talked about this pre-race too. Reese, very strong on the long runs. Doesn't feel like he needs to push too hard too early, but you do want to stay out of the mess. You see Bowman's going to tuck in behind him. Reese holds on a second off the start, Keegan.
Yeah, this is a smart move by Bowman. Don't use up tires are going to be a huge factor today. Don't use them up too much, trying to get just that one spot, especially if you're on the bottom when you know the outside's got the momentum. Just kind of tuck in line, get settled in these first few laps, and then you can slowly start inching and picking people off.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see who the first drivers use up too much of their tires too early and fall like a rock through the field. You heard from Ryan Blaney after the Cup race on Sunday. He felt like he could let guys go and say, I'll see you in 20 laps. We'll see if that happens anywhere in the field. We already have a caution today. Caution on just lap number 3, as we'll try to find out what that incident was. But you saw Bayham closing in on Sanchez, and it's the 43 of Trey Lambrecht around, I believe that's on the front stretch, Keegan, and it is. This did not look like it went well off of turn number 4. We'll watch Lambrecht. I can't quite tell who that is on his inside. It's the 04. That is Colby Goldschmidt. You see, Lambrecht just, I believe, bounced off the wall into Goldschmidt, and Goldschmidt came out way worse on that too. You got to think he's not going to be happy with Lambrecht bouncing off the wall and Connor Zilic into Riley Herbsting him down to the inside wall there.
Yeah, Lambrecht probably in pretty good shape, not too much damage, but yeah, that 04 probably either going to be in the pits for a while or just not have the speed and definitely not the era that he had coming into this race. But I mean, like we said, this is our first caution, so I mean, strategy is going to be thrown off today by what we think is going to be a more caution-heavy race than what we've had so far. It's almost like, well, which caution do you leverage as far as pitting? Do you kind of bank on having another caution, or you just race your own race and pit when you need to?
Yeah, I would be curious to know what happened to Logan Smith, who is now sitting 25th after starting in the top 10. But not quite sure what happened there. Don't know if he got into the wall in the start or got pushed up into the wall or something happened again. But for Logan, you got to imagine that just the feeling of can't catch a break right now after the win in race number 1. It's not been smooth sailing for the driver of number 34.
Not.
As we're getting word that Logan chose not to grid and started from the pit lane, hence the forfeit of the start position. So maybe just the idea of wanting to stay out of the initial mess, which I don't hate. The problem is now early restart, you're in 25th, you're in the mess.
Yeah, now you're in heavy, dirty air with all the, just in the chaos, really. I mean, these guys up front, we saw James Bowman kind of like, let off a little bit and get situated. They're not going to do that in the back because track position is more important the further back in the field you get. So they're just going to be extra heavy as far as pushing early and making moves as early as possible.
Yeah, there you see Aaron Brown getting his lap back. Early caution's a good break for him as he had the one-lap hole to start this race after, again, crashing into Logan Smith last week. But Brown will be back on the lead lap now. His fellow student and teammate Edward Sanchez will be up front not on the pole, but still leading this race, essentially on the pole, Keegan, because it doesn't feel like we really got going today.
No, it did not. Just as we talked about these guys getting into rhythm, there it is. There's a caution. But that may be the story of today. Every time we get, someone in the rhythm, there may be a wrench thrown into the gear. So I'm gonna, if I were in these drivers' ears, I'd be like, all right, stay calm, stay patient, and just ride the night out.
Well, the good news for all the virtual fans in Darlington is I think there's 2 restaurants in Darlington, and one of them's a Waffle House. So they'll have somewhere to go no matter how late we run tonight, Keegan.
Well, let's be real. If there was even another restaurant and still Waffle House, they'd still all go to Waffle House.
Nothing wrong with some Waffle House. You see the cookout billboard, maybe it's
There's going to be a cookout, but that's, yeah. So these guys are plenty good when it comes to food. They don't have Martinsville hot dogs, though. So
Have you ever had a Martinsville hot dog, Keegan?
I have not.
I have. They live up to the billing, I will say. They're pretty good. Was lucky enough to go there and watch my guy Jimmy Johnson win a race in 2013 and got a Martinsville hot dog on that day. What's interesting about Martinsville, Keegan, is the track is so flat that when you walk up to turn 4, the way it's set up, you can just see into the infield. It's quite an interesting setup as we get ready to go green here again. Reese Bayham still outside pole. Edward Sanchez is going to be on the front again. James Bowman, Brian Ferretta's up to 4th. Good start for last week's winner as Sanchez is pulling quite low down there. Did he choose to pit? I can't quite see. No, he's just very low as we are going to get back underway here in a moment. I believe pace car stayed on the track. Yeah, faked me out there with the low line taken, Keegan.
Yeah.
But we're going to go one more time, and then we'll get ready to head back to green here. But
Lights off officially this time.
I'm definitely curious to watch the back half of this top 10. We saw a bit of movement the first time in. Someone I have my eye on today is the 95 of Jake Cummings. Just 2 weeks ago, Cummings was top 3 in points, had a wreck at Auto Club back in the field, had a wreck at Kentucky after being mired back in traffic once again, and another guy who just needs a clean day today because he has pace. He was right up near the top of the standings, just wants to keep all the fenders on that Converse College 95 today.
Yeah, with the luck he's had at the tracks we've been to, he would be a guy that I would think would not want to hang out back here. He's going to make moves, try to get as much track position as early as possible so he can make his own luck and race his own race instead of having to race other people's race. So don't be shocked to see this 95 be the most aggressive car in the field early.
Well, we'll have to see what happens as Keegan, this time, we're getting ready to go green on this night in Darlington. See Sanchez staying up in his lane this time, obviously, for the restart. Off of turn number 4, Bayham and Sanchez, the front row once again. And Sanchez is gone. I don't think Bayham was quite ready for it. Bowman might get him too into turn 1. James Bowman right alongside of Bayham. Is he going to clear him? He is. So Reese Bayham down to 3rd. Edward Sanchez took off on that restart, and Auburn's lead man back down to 3rd behind James Bowman. Those are, again, the 2 fastest cars in practice today. So despite Sanchez's qualifying pace, you got to wonder if these two will catch up on the long run, Keegan, if we get the long run, as once again we've stabilized a little bit single file at the front here.
Yeah, and on that restart, it looked like Bayham just missed a shift and his rear end got a little squirrely, spun the tires a little bit, but they're settled in now, 1, 2, 3, kind of just how we were before the caution came out with Bowman and Bayham being flipped, but we mentioned Bayham's skill and just to hold on to tires longer than the average driver and just make that car come to life late in the run.
Yeah, as the front settles down, let's take a look a little bit further down the field at some of your other Auburn drivers. Ryan Smith and Andrew McGill right next to each other in 13th and 14th right now. You see Andrew trying to go for that move under Ryan, the alumnus on the student here off of turn 4. That's a little close. Andrew's going to pull in line behind him, but Miguel Carrera going to dive to the inside of McGill into turn 1, trying to make this pass. Andrew going to get squeezed into the wall almost by Carrera off of turn number 2. It's going to be another lost position for the 034 today, and what he proclaimed before the race is his Jordan flu race today, Keegan. Right. So we'll see how well Andrew can hang in there today. Today as Carrera's loose in front of him and up into the wall. That's going to send Andrew back by, and then Josh Camphor trying to get right below him on the bottom. He is going to get by. Good run from the Kansas State driver and those Dayglow green rims, but McGill trying to get back to his outside and get by. This is the preferred line, as we mentioned. You want to be on that outside. You want to get the run off the corner. It's so difficult right there. You see contact, and McGill bumped up into the wall, but the way this track is shaped, side by side, side by side off of turn 2, the way the line works, it's such a harsh final apex there that you're going to see contact there, I think, all day long. It's not quite as bad off of 4, but 4 also has a tighter turn radius in general. So the exits of both of these corners are going to be really critical all day, just trying to keep it clean. Yeah, and if you watched the broadcast yesterday, I mean, our drivers kind of echoed the same sentiment before the race. Ryan Smith down low. Smith with an issue. You see Ryan dropping back down the field. I got to believe, based on where he was on the track, that was a big loose moment out of turn 2 that he managed to hold on to. So good job not to have that in the inside wall. We know how easy it is to lose a car off of 2 here at Darlington. You overdrive it just a bit, and the lady in black is going to bite back. This is a track that you hear the saying all the time, race the track and not the other cars. I would say it's more true here than anywhere else. Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at. If you listen to the broadcast yesterday, or even what our drivers told us, I was about to say those exact words, Micah. You're racing the track and your car as well as the other drivers around you. This track is just so difficult, and we've seen, I mean, every camera angle we've gone to, we can't stay on it for more than 30 seconds without seeing sparks of some car into the wall. Yeah, in the back right there, you saw it just at the top of your screen as 2 cars got together off of turn 4. Is that going to be a caution? I'm amazed they held on to that. What a save. Save. It was the 04 in it again of Colby Goldschmidt. You'll see the replay here. That's the 48 of Madison Ulrich on top. And just they come together off of 4, both in the wall. I'm amazed that they both kept it going straight, and that's not a caution as we catch back up to the live action. Exactly what we were just talking about. The 48 got loose off turn 4. The track tightened up, had to save it, had nowhere to go, and just got into the 04. And, I mean, miraculously, they both kept it clean, or as clean as I guess they could, but we're caution-free. Yeah, you see them both running slow back there. Let's jump back up to the front of the field and check on Reese Bayham at the front. It looks like your top 3 might be under a blanket right now, and James Bowman is taking the lead. Sanchez back on the outside of Bowman. They're fighting into turn 1. You do not go 3 wide at Darlington unless you're feeling extremely brave. And you got to wonder, too, some potential issues in iRacing that you don't have to deal with a lot of the time in other arenas. You saw that 26 of Sanchez flickering in and out there. Yeah, some network issues. If that's an issue for these drivers as well, of Bayham and Bowman behind him, how do they handle that 26 where you never quite know where it's going to be? Yeah, because, I mean, it could disappear and then reappear, inside of the track, outside of the track. But so sometimes that happens, and it's just a one-time then or a 2-time flicker, and you're good. Let's hope for this case that, he's good. Yeah, you saw Sanchez get back to the lead by Bowman after he got it back off of the wall, but it feels like everyone, just like a real Darlington race, IRL Darlington, everyone's going to be in the wall at some point tonight. It's just a matter of not damaging your car when you do so. Yeah, I mean, you can hit the wall and still carry speed. You just got to barely tap it, and you can't do it too often, as you see Bayham get in the wall turn 4. Side by side for the lead, I think, in front is James Bowman going to the inside of Edward Sanchez into turn 1. Going to try to hold that side draft, take some of the air off the spoiler of the 26. Again, lower rear downforce. So once you're on that quarter panel in the corner, it's going to upset the car more than it usually will. So these guys might not be used to that yet. But again, you go side by side down to the bottom. If you don't complete that pass, you're right back into the clutches of the guy behind you. As you see Bayham trying to make some speed out on the top side here. Bowman going for it again on the inside. We're going to see the same thing into turn 1 this time. I think Sanchez is going to be able to hold it on the outside. You see that it's just so hard to hold on to that momentum mid-corner from the bottom, and then you get closed off in the radius here, but he's held on to
Bowman,
it.
yeah.
Look at the run from Bayham behind him. Where's he going to go? He's going to bump draft Sanchez, keep that outside line moving. I think that's the right move.
It's a veteran move.
Yeah.
Stay patient and just wait.
Just lap 19, no reason to be going 3 wide into turn 3 at Darlington, but right behind these guys is the number 99 of Anthony Savignano, who is right on the back of these 3. You have your top 4 almost all under a blanket. There's the 99. Yeah, Ferretta right behind the 99 as well. So this race really closing in at the front right now, Keegan. And you got to wonder, the more that this run continues, we saw this again on Sunday. I feel this is mirroring Sunday's race very well. Of the longer the runs went, some pockets of the field really closed up, some pockets stretched out. You're seeing it right now, everyone close up at the front of the field as the 99 looking on Bayham for a minute, got to tuck back into line. Bowman still trying to get to Sanchez. You see them both in the wall mid-corner, but I think Bowman has the better drive off as he got on the wall a bit earlier. Sanchez in the wall off the corner. Bowman to the inside of turn 3. It's easier to make the move on the low side of the track down here with the lower radius. It's not quite as high of a minimum speed, so you can hang down there a bit more, try to side draft down the front. You expect him to do it right here, and he's going to, but just not enough of a run off the corner. Again, that high side, it's so easy to say, well, he's in the wall, he shouldn't have the momentum. Well, Keegan, when they're both in the wall, no one has momentum.
Right, and well, what the credit to Bowman here is he's learning. Even if he doesn't get past him here, he has the ability to say, okay, this worked, this didn't work. So later in the race, if they're in this exact same position, and let's say Bowman's out front and Sanchez is in second, well, he may not have that experience of trying to figure out how to get around the car on the outside. So this is a really good opportunity for Bowman and even Bayham just to learn and see what works right now.
Yeah, you can see still your entire top 3 right here together, and then 4th and 5th pretty close behind. Honestly, your entire top 9, there's not an interval bigger than 0.4 of a second, and then 3.5 seconds back to Sebastian Perez in 10th. So this top 9 is clearly separating themselves right now. As you see already lap traffic in front of Sanchez, who's in the wall again in the middle of 3 and 4. Keegan, you have a bit more iRacing experience than me. How long do you think you can afford to bounce off the wall like that before you start taking some damage?
Not much. I mean, you can get away, especially the oval code is a little bit different than the road racing code. You can get away with a little bit of kind of bouncing off the wall, but if you start doing it too often, too much, it'll come back to bite you. And especially with these lap cars, if you get into a lap car, it handles it way differently, and it could be, very, very detrimental to the rest of your day.
And it's so important where you catch these lap cars too. Those of you who remember 2020 Spring Darlington for NASCAR Cup Series might remember Jimmy Johnson about to win stage 1, catches Ricky Stenhouse off a turn 2, gets into the back of him and spins himself out, ends that race when he had the fastest car on the day. So it's important to learn how to handle this lap traffic and be consistent. Try to catch him in the right spot. You don't need to push too hard too early, as we had a lovely onboard view here on the 18 of James Bowman. It really gives you an idea of trying to fight that car on the outside, because you gain a little bit into the corner, but just from about the 3rd mark of the corner all the way off, that car on the outside, the momentum is just so hard to contend with.
Yeah, I love showing this camera angle, especially at Darlington, as you see Sanchez getting into the wall big loose.
Big loose. Yeah, you mentioned it. Bowman to the inside, going for the lead to turn 3.
Should have the momentum to clear.
He's not quite going to. Sanchez still right with him. Let's take a look at the off-board shot. Is they're going to be side by side? Can Bowman clear him?
And he can.
He can. James Bowman to the lead. With how many times you saw Sanchez in the wall, you wondered when he would push a little bit too much. Turns out it wasn't even wall contact. It was just a little too loose.
Well, he got into the wall going into turn 2, so that might have,
affected the balance.
It looks like he got into the wall a little harder.
Sanchez still struggling with that turn 2 exit. Can't quite find his rhythm again right now. We'll see if Bayham can get by him in 3 and 4. Going to slide up. It's so hard at Darlington. You get so tight in the center here. It's loose in, tight center, loose off. You feel like you hear it from every driver here at Darlington every single race. As you see the 26 having some issues again, but Bayham, going to be on the outside now. Slipping back a little bit is, I believe, the air at the front of his car was cut off into the corner, getting a little bit tight.
Well, you asked a question, I believe, 2 laps ago. How many times can you get into the wall? And Sanchez is a guy we've seen get into the wall more than anybody. And he's gotten into it hard a few times. And you've seen him struggle off corner exit the last few laps. Maybe that could just be a product of maybe the air is slipping a little bit away from that car, or just his tires, kind of done with, the lateral grip.
Bayham, 99's the ball. Bayham is hit by Ferwetta. We have a crash in turn one. Ferwetta and Bayham together. That's going to be a caution. You saw Savignano at the entrance of the corner get loose, and for Bayham and Ferwetta, that's just wrong place, wrong time. That is horrendous luck for what were your two fastest drivers last week and both in the top 5 again today. Let's take another look at it.
Yeah, I mean, nothing. If you're Reese Bayham, there's nothing you can do. I'm sure he was lifting hard on the brakes.
Yeah, let's take a look at the onboard here. In goes the 99, loose and checks up into the wall. Then Bayham off the right rear quarter, nowhere to go, and then especially nowhere to go for Ferwetta either, and Austin DeLong for that matter, as all three of them get into each other. But depending on the front end damage for Ferwetta, you got to think that Reese came off worst in this scenario. You see him again, just nowhere to go, right into that quarter panel, and then killed by Ferwetta. And I don't think you can really say that's Ferwetta's fault. That just happens so quickly. It's so hard to adjust in that split second. Just really nowhere to go, especially to track where the groove is as narrow as it is here.
And when you're as focused on just keeping your own car under control, if something happens in front of you, it may take you a split second longer than usual to, kind of register, oh, I've got to, figure this out. Everybody to come down, take 4 tires here. We're at lap 33, so it's almost a perfect time for these guys to come and pit.
Yeah, lap 30 right now. You see everyone's going to come down as we head to lap 31. And with how crucial tire wear is, you mentioned it, Keegan, everyone is going to be on pit road. I would say if you even run about 10 laps, it's automatically everyone needs to come down and get tires with how it's set up. But we'll keep an eye on Bayham, the condition of that car, how he's doing. You see him at the back of the line here now. Second pit stall is Reese, so we'll keep an eye on that car. But you notice 4 tires for everyone. There goes James Bowman. Is he going to win the race off pit road? Bowman does, as Sanchez is stopped at the end of the pits, has to pick it back up. And that's a lot of positions for Tyler Skozen up the board. Did the 28 take 2 tires, Keegan?
I would expect not, but with how many spots he jumped, it'd be hard not to.
He, Lyman, and Corbin, I would all wonder about. And then you look at 6th and 7th. How about Andrew McGill and Ryan Smith up into the top 7 of this race? Yeah, let's take a look on pit road.
I mean, we saw it last week. It was the winning move to take 2 tires.
No, it was 4. It was 4 for Skozen, so just a pit time difference. Keegan, I tell you what I bet that is. It's repair time difference. You get in the wall less, you keep it clean, you gain positions on pit road. As you see, 4 for McGill as well, and he and Ryan Smith, I would guess, have both been able to keep it off the wall, and you see it now up into 6th and 7th.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. If you race a clean race, you race clean pit road. I mean, we saw pit road play more factor yesterday in the Cup race.
And there's Logan, too.
Than we have all season. So it looks like this is not only mirroring the schedule, but mirroring just the race in general with how we've seen the racing play out and even pit road.
Well, you see Reese Bayham is down in 19th, but for the rest of the Auburn running order, how about 6th, 7th, and 8th right now for Ryan Smith, Andrew McGill, and Logan Smith, all 3 right in a row. And Logan, remember, started at the back of the race, qualified, I believe, in 6th. So he is almost right back to where he would have started this race. That decision paying off. He's kept the car clean, gained time in the pits, and you see the benefits of that.
Yeah, I mean, now he's in, some cleaner air, still hanging around the back half of the top 10, but you expect that car to make some moves, especially early when these cars are bunched together and not spread out in this restart. I'd expect him to move through the field.
Yeah, I will say, obviously, you never want to be starting on the inside line here at Darlington, as now the rest of the field forms up. You see him, I still don't think 10th is correct because he's in the inside line. You're usually going to be an odd-numbered position down there with no choose rule here in iRacing. So we'll wait for everyone to form up and see what the official positions are. Looks like it's going to be 11th for Logan Smith here. Then Ryan Smith in 9th place because he's on the inside line. And then McGill is in 6th. So just a matter of getting everyone formed back up here. But still, 11th, not bad for Logan. You saw Ryan Smith, before the caution, was up near the top 10, I believe in 13th place at the time of caution. So Big jump for him, 6 spots gained on that pit road cycle. So if it were me, Keegan, and I know it's easy to say, well, you want to keep it off the wall, but it's so important today because of pit time with repair that I think that's going to become more and more of a priority as you get into the mid portion of this race, is just not pushing as much and maybe running the bottom line a bit more. Because sure, maybe you lose time with your tires, you burn more tire on the bottom line, but is it worth it if you can pick up 5 or 6 spots on pit road at the next stop?
Yeah, and with how we've seen this race play out, I mean, we're less than 35 laps in and have had 2 cautions. Maybe using those tires isn't such a bad thing if, you're only going to run, 20 to 25 laps.
Well, let's get your running order back set. Let's jump to the front of the field here, take a look at your front row, and out of nowhere, guess who's jumped up to the front? It's Tyler Skozen. It feels like once every week, Skozen is right up near the front here. He is 3rd in the standings right now, 42 points behind Reese Bayham, who, as a reminder, is down in 18th right now. So, big opportunity here for Skozen next to James Bowman. Edward Sanchez, we've seen in a couple incidents this year, so you got to think everyone around him is hoping that Sanchez can keep it clean. We've seen him up in the wall a lot today already. And then for the 2nd race in a row, Brennan Lyman with some good positions gained on pit road.
Yeah, and at a track we love to run the high side. We know he loved the high side of Kentucky yesterday. So let's see what he can make happen on this high side of Darlington.
As we should be coming to green here, obviously, have not seen the pace car myself yet on this lap, but I would expect this to be coming to green. There you see the pace car pulling off. Front row, Bowman and Skozen. Sounds almost like it rhymes. As we head into the restart zone, down the front stretch, Bowman lining it up, getting going. As you saw, a bit of a wiggle out of Skozen on that front row. He's going to drop back behind Sanchez and maybe even Cade Corbin, as Corbin's going to try to gain 3rd into turn number 1, but that outside is just so indomitable on these restarts, Keegan, so hard to deal with, as Skozen is going to hang on to 3rd position as Bowman jumps out of the lead with Sanchez behind him.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we talked about earlier. Sanchez in the wall again, by the way. Now he's playing the cat chasing the mouse. Like, he's got to learn and figure out how to get around this car of Bowman, either on the inside or set him up to where he can pass on the outside. But another learning opportunity this time for Sanchez for later in the race.
Yeah, you see him running a little bit lower as he's brushed the wall again. But as we get off this restart, let's take a look at McGill back in 6th, who obviously this is the highest up he's run in a little while, Keegan. He does have a top 10 so far this year. It was at Chicago, so at least one of these intermediate style tracks. I know obviously very different from Darlington, but he's been solid. Like Kentucky, he was running well at Kentucky too, then had the late race fall a little bit back down the order, just tire strategy didn't quite work out. And then at Auto Club, he was really frustrated with the way his tire strategy went that day. Got kind of shafted by a late caution, but you see him running up here in 6th. Lee Winters right behind him, and in a race where not as much of the guys who are at the top of the points are at the front. Like, Alex Ortega's been nowhere to be found today so far. I haven't seen him on the running order at any point today. Not sure if he's even participating in this one. I haven't seen him on the practice ladder or anything, and he came into this race 4th in points. So when a lot of your quicker drivers are either not here or down the order, that leaves opportunities. You see Brian Ferretta, 22nd, Jake Cummings, 21st. Obviously, Bayham, we know what happened to him, down in 16th as well. So we got another caution here. Caution is out, as we'll take a look at the incident that happened here once we find out what it was. But it's been that kind of a day, Keegan. You get yourself settled in, and suddenly no one's settled in anymore, as we have a wreck. I believe it's going to be the 73 of Wesley Shaw. Oh, it's the 99 again. Was right with Bayham. 99 and Bayham back in it. So we see Savignano down into turn 1, below Shaw. Slips up the track, gets the quarter panel of Shaw, and Shaw just not quite able to save it at that point. Down and then overcorrects back up the track. Look out! Oh, goodness. That is quite the hit off of the corner there. Let's take another look at that so we can see who all was involved off of turn 4, or excuse me, off of turn 2. Coming through here, you see Shaw. There's the initial contact. Savignano goes by, and then got it. Nope. Back up the track, and then bang. As you see Ferwetta go through that as well. I believe that was the 141 of Josh Kampfer in that as well for Kansas State. And then Madison Ulbrich, once again, right around the incidents today. But look at that drift from Ferwetta. You got to think he's eager to get out of here already.
Yeah, he's already had a bad day, and we're 40 laps in, so he's got a number of laps he's got to check off, but there aren't going to be happy laps. What do you expect strategy-wise? You said last time we pit, if you're on 10 laps, you come get tires. Well, we were at what, 6 laps?
Yeah.
So what's your strategy rule for this?
I'm not pitting. I think at this point, it's been so few lapses. Let's jump back up and take a look at our leaders here under the pace laps. As you see, Reese is on pit road. Reese Bayham is going to stop. And I don't hate that, Keegan. You're down in 17th. You've proved yourself to be one of the fastest 3 or 4 cars in this race. Why not come down and get extra pace over everyone else anyways?
Yeah, if you're one of those guys, you know you have the pace and, you just had some bad luck. Yeah, obviously, come get tires, fresher tires, get some as much track position as possible on those fresh tires before they kind of level out. But I'm with you. Don't pit here because, let's be real. We can kind of bank on another caution in about 15 to 20 laps.
Yeah, I will say Alan Gustafson, you better believe he's getting 4 tires right now.
Yeah.
You as the Chase Elliott fan have to poke fun at that a little bit. But James Bowman does lead here at Darlington right now. We're heading on to lap 41 here. And I think what we need to do, Keegan, on this restart, I think let's follow Reese Bayham from 20th on this restart and see what those fresh tires look like.
I'm with you. And not only what the fresh tires look like, but that dirty air and chaos we've talked about. Every time there's been a caution flag, except for the one involving Bayham earlier, it's come from the back of the field. So that dirty air, those guys just fighting for position after position after position, needing the track position, wanting the track position, fighting extra hard for the track position, and, cautions just breed cautions, especially in the back of the pack.
They absolutely do, and that's the great part, Keegan, about being the Auburn iRacing broadcast, is if we want to go back and watch the guy in 20th because we think it's going to be exciting, and it's one of our guys, we can do that.
Yeah.
And that's something I love about being able to do this. You just get to see whatever really racing you feel like watching at the moment, and it's so entertaining always every week. I've just really enjoyed being able to call these races. We've had 3 great ones. Auto Club, obviously the famously, I don't know if you remember the graphic that Fox used one year where you can go 13 wide into the corner one year. Didn't quite see that, but it was crazy. Then last week, some great multi-groove racing at Kentucky, and now this week, the tire wear, high horsepower chaos of Darlington as we are back underway. Green flag racing, as you see Bayham in 19th, right away to the outside around the 14.
Wow.
14's been slow all day, so I don't think that's entirely unexpected. Going for another move, this time on Christian Garish in the 6th around the outside. He's going to get that one too. Now right behind Jake Cummings, Bayham running 19th right now. And this is the calm part of the track right now. As you see, look at the run he has on Cummings.
These tires look fast.
These tires do look fast. As Cummings is a little slow into that corner. I think picked it up back out of it, but the closing speed on the corner entry was absurd right there. To see once again Savignano right behind Bayham. He has to be thinking, can I get this 99 away from me today so far? We'll see if he can get by Jake Cummings in the 95. You see him bounce off the wall there, does Bayham, but still trying to line up a move. And here he goes to the outside. Is Cummings going to cover it? He tries to, but then cuts back down. Bayham trying to power off the corner in this outside line. You got to think he's going to the bottom here. He's going to stay patient. Did have the run, but going to stay patient. Look for the run through 1 and 2. And I do like that idea because I think we've talked about it's easier to pass on the bottom in 3 and 4. So if you can set yourself up out of turn 2, although Savignano looking for a move to the inside of Bayham into turn 3, 99 and 334 at it yet again here. And Savignano is going to get by. Bayham forced to run behind right now. These were 2 cars that, remember, were battling in the top 5 before Savignano started that 4-car wreck that we saw earlier. But Bayham just riding in 20th right now. Going to hope to use these new tires. Let's jump back up the field. Let's take a look at Ryan Smith in 12th right now. He's about 3/10 behind a battle. You see right in front of him Zachary Tallman and Thomas Coonan together. Tallman did start today with an end-of-line penalty, so nice from the 71. There's a caution. That was Cade Corbin. I believe it was Edward Sanchez as well. 2 of your quickest cars today. That is Sanchez. Sanchez and Cade Corbin with an incident off of turn number 4. Ooh, looks like Corbin was on the outside. Let's take a look at this. You see Sanchez in the lead, Bowman right behind him. Sanchez going to drive down. Does he get loose? He does. Up the track. Look at Bowman avoid that, and then Corbin tries to avoid it and just frankly drives into the back of Edward Sanchez.
Second guessed his avoid decision there, and it cost him.
Yeah, unfortunately at that speed, at this pace, you can't second guess. But I tell you what I'm second guessing right now, Keegan, is with about 10 to 12 lap old tires out front.
Go get them.
Do we see your leaders
come get them?
Does that mean Reese Bayham's going to be top 5 here, Keegan?
I don't think everybody's going to come get tires, so he may not be top 5, but I'd expect a good majority to come get tires. So, I mean, Reese Bayham seems like he played that perfectly.
Well, we're not seeing a lot of guys on pit road as we follow Sanchez into the pits right now. It's Sanchez, Corbin's on pit road, so less guys than maybe we expected. So maybe tire wear not to the extent of, oh, if you run 8 or 9 laps, you have to come down, but still a few guys staying out. Or excuse me, a few guys coming down pit road, a lot of guys staying out up at the front. James Bowman, I think, obviously, you want to keep that clean air. It's going to keep Skozen in second. Brennan Lyman running third still. Lee Winters in that beautiful Dutch boy throwback scheme is running fourth. Miguel Carrera in the Valorant car that you pointed out earlier is running in fifth right now. Aaron Ramon in sixth. And then how about Andrew McGill up in seventh, still hanging out in the top 10 is McGill. Then Zachary Tallman, we just mentioned, is in 8th right now. Ryan Smith also in the top 10. Does have a top 10 this season. It was at Daytona in the plate track, so looking for his first on a more traditional 1.5 miles, although Darlington about 1.3 miles, but more traditional intermediate. You see Sebastian Perez there in that beautiful UPS and Texas A&M scheme, rounding out your top 10, and then Logan Smith right behind him in 11th. And after the cars that chose to come down pit road, that will put Bayham back in the top 15. He'll be running 15th once we restart this race.
Yeah, we just don't know how bad that car's been affected by the wreck he was in aero-wise, and if he'll have the speed to compete like he did at the beginning of the race. Only time will tell. But in the top 15, so 16th now. I guess we'll find out what kind of performance that car has after being involved in a wreck. And we've seen, I mean, Sanchez will deal with the same thing now. We've seen him get into the wall a bunch, but now involved in that wreck. Kind of just a spin, but got into another car. So
some pretty big contact with the rear, though. I think you're worried about maybe diffuser damage. Is just a little bit of a championship update right now. Bayham, your championship leader, is running 16th. He had a 35-point lead on Ferwetta, who's running 19th after being caught up in a couple incidents today. But the guy sitting pretty right now, 42 points back, is in second place. The 28 of Tyler Skozen up on the front row, as you see him in that iRacing paint scheme on the outside.
Yeah, big opportunity for these guys in the top 5 to take advantage of the situation that Ferwetta and Bayham have been put into as we're going green right here.
Yep, restart again. Let's watch it from the front this time. It's Bowman and Skozen. We saw Skozen not get off the line that well last time. And in general, it's so hard to maintain pace on the outside as there goes Bowman again. Lyman right behind him is going to be side by side with Skozen headed into turn number 1. The 28 going to get the momentum you'd think on this outside, but Lyman clears him. Good job to drive it in from the 78 on the bottom, but here comes Skozen right back. That mid-corner momentum is so big. What kind of run can he get out of the corners? You see Lee Winters into the wall, but here comes Skozen. Back to the inside, down into turn 3. There goes the 28. He's going to clear Lyman. Good move from Tyler Skozen to turn number 3. That 28 car has some pace today, Keegan.
Yeah, Lyman just looked undecisive there. I mean, he tried to protect the inside line, but wanted the momentum, so went to the outside late, and it just didn't work out for him, and Skozen played him like a fiddle right there.
Yeah.
Just went right around him.
Nice little setup move. Let's jump back and look at Andrew McGill in 7th place, just 2/10 behind Aaron Ramon right now. There's the 034, one of the 2 Auburn alumni in this race. Obviously, Bayham, the other, running 15th right now. McGill trying to line up a move on Ramon, and Ramon as well has been a solid driver so far this season, is top 10 in the point standings, does have a podium so far this year. Just been consistent. It feels like every week you turn on the race and he's running 10th to 12th, and this week all the way up in 6th right now. He's been extremely solid despite not being maybe one of your top flight guys on pace. It just feels like he's there every week is the Texas A&M international driver.
Yeah, I mean, these 2 guys, you know what you're going to get out of them. You're going to get clean races. We've seen it. They've stayed out of the wall, you know, a good bit comparatively. But they're just going to give you clean races. They're going to run their own race and save their own tires.
As you look at now Ryan Smith who is right in front of Reese Bayham, and there's Austin DeLong in front of these two. Remember, DeLong was also in that wreck with Savignano, Bayham, and Ferretta earlier in this race, as Ryan trying to hold off Reese, and then you see Logan Smith right in with him as well, as Lambrick is in front of Logan Smith. Logan looking for a move down to the inside behind these two. You see him on the inside of Lambrick just off your screen. There he is. Logan Smith trying to complete the pass on Lambert. He's got him. Auburn cars now nose to tail from 13th to 15th right now, all running together as Bayham makes the move on Ryan Smith. Ryan Smith is in the wall. Logan Smith going to get by him on the bottom, so Logan gets by Ryan through turns 1 and 2. You saw Bayham with the run off of turn 4, does manage to get by Ryan Smith. We have more cars in the wall behind, but look at the pace from Bayham right now as Ryan Smith puts a block on Lambert into turn 3.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's on slightly fresher tires, and at the rate that the guys that haven't stayed out for a few cycles now, I mean, maybe these tires are starting to catch up and you're seeing it at the pace, or it's just the pace to Reese Bayham himself.
Yeah, let's jump back to Bayham, who's closing fast on a battle right in front of him. You saw DeLong and Tallman were 0.0 separated from each other. Keegan, in my book, that means side by side. As you see it once again, DeLong to the inside of Tallman. Bayham trying to follow him through. It's difficult to start that move mid-corner on the bottom line, but let's see with the slightly fresher tires. Look at the grip off of turn number 4 for Bayham as he gets by Zach Tallman. Again, Tallman, Pennsylvania College of Technology guy. As you see DeLong into turns 1 and 2 running this outside. Bayham still below Tallman. Good fight back from the 71 on the outside. Oh, he's off the wall. Kept it straight as that's going to set up Logan Smith for a potential pass on him. But goodness, if you're Reese Bayham, that had to be a scary moment there as the car on your outside thwacks the wall.
Yeah. And, I mean, DeLong and Bayham both look like they're on angry marches back to the front of this field. Taken out earlier, but, I mean, from what we're seeing, it doesn't look like it affected the air of these cars too much, and they look like they are just ready to get back to the front as quick as possible.
Yeah, they're both working on it. Let's take a look at Andrew McGill in 9th, as he is in an absolute battle right now between himself, Coonan, and Savignano. There's DeLong right behind him. Savignano to the inside of McGill. He's going to drive that in deep. McGill off the wall. Tries to back off of it a little bit. There goes DeLong on the inside, too, as you saw. Sometimes when you hit the wall for the first time here at Darlington Key, and you kind of get sucked into it and stuck on the outside, is Bayham now looking to go by. You got to think McGill just lets him by.
Yeah.
And he does. There goes Bayham. That trio of Savignano, DeLong, and Bayham, as you mentioned, marching their way back towards the front of the field right now after that wreck. And it looks like all three are going to be there shortly.
Yeah, just a freight train wasting no time, just picking guys off one by one. And, I mean, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be fun when these guys get to the front, especially if we can get another restart, get them all bunched up with Bowman and Skojan. It's going to be fun to watch.
Well, you saw DeLong run the bottom right there in 3 and 4. Bayham trying to close on him. Look at the speed through the middle of 1 and 2. It's just so impressive, the lines that these guys can take through there consistently and keep these cars mostly clean. Look at the run he has. Can Bayham take the space on the bottom? He's going to just wait. I think
we've seen him do that a few times today, where he gets a run, but he's patient. He's waiting for a better move and a perfect opportunity, and it's worked out for him so far.
Yeah, he saw DeLong run the bottom in 3 and 4 last time. You got to think that was in his mind too. Okay, maybe he goes back to the bottom. I can stay on the outside, try to get by, but he's going to remain in the tire tracks of that 222, and he's just going to be right there again, looking for the run off of turn 2. Now what do you do this time? Because if you build up the run, you see DeLong in the wall. Bayham, does he make the move this time? He does. Hangs the left down into turn number 3, going to try to push it on this bottom line. It's so tough to keep that momentum. You get so tight in the middle of the corner here and have to check up, and then you lose the ground off the corner, but there goes DeLong in the wall. Bayham's going to be by him. You see him check up, go back for the outside line, the preferred line here in 1 and 2 again. Just working this middle groove, trying to gain back. You see side by side in front of DeLong between Coonan and Perez. This is all jumbling up. You see, where does he even go here? 3 wide from Bayham into turn number 3 from the 334. Saw an opportunity, and Reese jumped on it. As you see, Perez trying to come to the back of him, but Bayham is absolutely going to be out front here. Saw the fighting in front of him. Coonan was stuck behind the DeLong was stuck behind the side-by-side of Coonan and Perez, and Bayham said, "Thank you very much." Went by both of them, now going after the Irishman for 8th.
Yeah, I mean, he had the momentum, realized, all right, this is my chance, and just went for the slide job. And, I mean, a risky slide job with them 2 by 2 in front of them, but just went 3 wide and made it work and stuck the landing.
That was Chase Briscoe-S from 2024 in the Southern 500. If you remember, that restart move from the 14 is now just settling down a little bit here in 9th, trying to make some progress forward. As he does, let's jump forward, look at the battle for 5th, as Winters, Ramon, and Savignano are all fighting each other right now. As you see Winters right in front, all these cars close together. Savignano has been really marching towards the front, trying to go for the move on Ramon on the bottom of 3 and 4 right now, battling for 6. As you see it from this beautiful off-board shot here. Savignano trying to make a move down towards the bottom, but again, that door is going to close. 99 is going to remain behind as all 3 of these guys are closed. Good run through the middle there for Lee Winters. You saw Savignano trying for the move off of turn 2. He's going to turn left, headed down towards turn number 3. Slide job from the 99. Is it going to work? Not quite. He can't quite clear Ramon. Ramon's going to come back on the outside. This is going to close up Coonan behind him, I think, but good run off the corner there for Savignano, able to clear in the latter phase of that as the 143 falls back. Thomas Coonan now moving forward towards these 2 guys, and Bayham's right behind him.
Yeah, and this would be a real test for these guys we've seen kind of march through the field. Now they're getting the top 5. You saw that pass alone took an extra lap that it did to get past the other guys. So they're really going to get tested here and really have to fight and see what these guys have to get past the top 5.
You see Lee Winters kind of a cork in the bottle right now. Savignano trying to make a move on him. 99 to the bottom on the 37 from Vincennes University. Down into turn number 1. Savignano's got him, but he overcooked it.
Switchback.
He's into the wall. Lee Winters down below him. He's going to get the switchback, as you mentioned. Ramon really tight off the corner. Savignano gets by again. Winters is into the wall. Here comes Coonan on the bottom line. Where does Bayham go behind all of them? Bayham to the bottom once again on Ramon. There's that 334 trying to move its way back forward. Going for 7th on Ramon right now. Or excuse me, that's for 8th. There's so many guys right here together. Bayham on the bottom. Winters in front off the wall again. Where does Bayham go here? It's going to be difficult. Winters in front of him. Gets tight in the middle. So hard to put the power down. Does DeLong get a run on both of these guys out of the corner? You see Ramon in the wall. Bayham down the bottom. He's going to clear him. Here comes DeLong. Good run from the 222 forward as Bayham is going to be able to stay clear of that car. But now he's after Lee Winters for 7th place is Bayham. 0.4 of a second as Coonan and Savignano have bolted off the front of that 37 a little bit. We mentioned he was the cork in the bottle, and you saw him get passed by 2 cars there as Bayham tries to hunt him down now.
Yeah, that was incredible racing all around by all these guys. Kept it clean, mostly, a little contact with the wall, but that's nothing here. But just kept it off of each other mostly. And just good passes, being patient, taking your runs when you got them, using the switchback, letting your guy make his mistake, and just going after it.
Here's Bayham on the outside trying to make a move on Winters. He's going to have a good run off of turn 4 here. We've seen him all day be patient into turn 1. He likes to move into turn 3 more. Let's see if he does it again. Right in the tire tracks of this 37. It is easier to follow now with the lower downforce, higher horsepower with this package. It's easier to be in the tire tracks the car in front, even with this next-gen Cup car. Does Bayham go anywhere? He's going to move to the top. Winters gives him the top. I would not have done that personally with how Bayham's been running today, but we'll see if he can get the momentum. Winters loose. Winters down towards the inside wall. He saves it. Good car control there from the 37 to keep that going straight, I believe he did. As you see, Logan Smith on the timing tower gets by him as well, so Logan near the top 10 again after starting in the back. He's in 11th, but Reese Bayham now about a second gap up to the 23 of Thomas Coonan. That would be for 6th. Let's jump back and take a look at Logan Smith right now. Or actually, let's look at this battle. This is a great battle. Shout out to the director in the studio today, Pierce Hanley on our camera crew. That was an excellent camera switch there as Miguel Carrera gets passed by Anthony Savignano. Coonan trying to close up behind Carrera as well. Carrera's been near the front, had a little bit of a different tire strategy earlier, stayed out after one of the cautions for wrecks, and it's really paid off. He has that 77 on the car. Keegan, it looks like the Spire strategy from Sunday of leave the car out there on older tires, hope it works out, and it has. Thomas Coonan trying to move to the inside of him, though, off of turn 4. That's a difficult spot. You see both guys a little squirrely, maybe some contact. Where does he go into turn 1?
Yeah, just couldn't make a move in turn 1. Got loose, had to tuck back in line, and now he can use the backstretch, run off the backstretch, get some momentum, and then make a move into turn 3 if he wants to. But it looks like he might just be too far at this point.
Well, it's been so interesting today, Keegan, in 1 and 2. because it almost feels like with some of these moves and both guys start pushing, the guy who gets the run is whoever gets into the wall first. Because it feels like they both do, so whoever bounces it off first can turn back down the banking and get the better run off the corner. But if these guys both stay in the wall, I think Bayham's going to be by him in just a moment as he is closed up right to the back of Coonan once again. That 9/10 of a second gap that we saw 3 laps ago is now down to just 0.2 to that number 23 in front of him, as these three are all right next to each other. Reminder, we're on lap 72 right now, 75 to go. But as for time, we have an hour left, or 58 minutes. So if we get more of these wrecks, we might start to have to worry about time. But right now, it feels like we're going to be able to get the laps in, as we are just about at halfway with still an hour to race. So if we can get more of this green flag racing, we look good to complete the lap distance, as now Bayham is fully there trying to line up a move on this 23. But when the guy in front of you is also trying to line up a move, it makes it that much more difficult. But here goes Coonan to the inside of Carrera. They're side by side towards 1. I would watch Bayham into 3 here, Keegan, because if these two guys are side by side, oh, Coonan's loose. Coonan's loose. He's into the wall. Is anyone going to hit him? You see him stationary down there. Caution is out, but good job of no one to hit that 23. And goodness, can you imagine the flashbacks for Reese Bayham seeing a car sideways in front of him in 1 and 2 for the second time today?
Yeah, probably thinking, oh, not again. But was able to sneak by. And now, I mean, we were just about to start talking about green flag pit stops with how deep we were into that run. I mean, I don't think anybody stays out this time. I know we were shocked last time, but there's no chance somebody stays out this time.
I'll tell you, Keegan, if you stay out here, you bought yourself a one-way ticket to the back, I think.
The back or the wall, and not just a love tap into the wall.
Or the back of you into the wall, depending on how the rest of this restart goes. But quick Auburn running order check-in. Bayham is once again your highest Tiger right now in 6th place. Logan Smith just on the outside of the top 10 in 11th. Andrew McGill in his flu game running 13th. And then Ryan Smith is down in 22nd. You saw him bounce off the wall in the middle of that run, lose some spots. You got to imagine the 82 was a bit affected from that point. But with how long that run was, we saw plenty of people in the wall. This is going to be a very interesting race off pit road with damage times.
Yeah, we're going to see who really kept it off the wall with this race off pit road. But I mean, man, now you have Bayham, DeLong, and Savignano in the top 6, maybe top 5, depending on how this pit cycle goes. I mean, they marched through the field. So them at the front now, it's going to be fun to see. And Bowman, I mean, it went unnoticed with all the racing, but Bowman pulled out to a 3.5-second lead over Skozen there. So his car not weak at all.
Yeah, and fastest in practice, he's absolutely been showing it. I am so curious to watch this race off pit road. And remember, I think we talked about Bayham, Savignano, and those guys all cutting through the field, but remember, slightly fresher tires in those cars. So we'll have to take a look at, once they're all on equal footing, which they will be here, who is the quickest. But getting ready for your race off pit road here, it's going to be Bowman, then Skozen, then Lyman. Savignano going to be 4th, Bayham 5th, DeLong 6th, and then I believe that is Carrera in 7th. So your top 6 or 7 staying mostly the same. You're going to see Bayham down the timing tower a little bit, but he definitely was 6th off of pit road. Counted it as he's now waiting. Is there an issue with that 334? Is a potential speeding penalty for Reese? Or we'll have to wait and see, but he definitely got off 6th.
It seems to be just giving some spots up, so it's got to be a penalty of some kind.
Well, we'll see if he drives back through, because we did see that on the last restart of a couple guys just gave up some spots and then drove back through the line a little bit. But I am incredibly curious as to what happened with the 334 there. Well, we'll have to find out. But back up at the top, it's going to be Bowman and Skozen on the front row for the 3rd time in a restart tonight. You see Bayham now all the way down in 15th. According to your timing tower, it's 11 spots, or excuse me, eventually I'll learn how to count, Keegan. That's 9 spots from where he came off pit road, but is at the back of the line right now, so you wonder if it is a speeding penalty and he's just end of line.
Yeah, once we all get sorted out and ready to go green, we'll find out officially. They're still just letting guys by.
It looks like a potential speeding penalty for Reese Bayham as he continues to let drivers by, as that 334 is dropping towards the back. now down to 17th. There's again 70 laps to go. We're on lap 77. And Bayham will line up 17th here. I do believe that's a penalty as we're back under green. And James Bowman is going to hold on to this lead. Again, this inside line, as long as you get to the corner first, the inside line is pretty difficult to beat, especially on the front row. Bowman's been shot out of a cannon on 3 different restarts tonight. As you see him still holding the lead. Lyman once again gets second over Skozen. We're under caution again. Oh, it's Logan Smith. Oh, not again for Logan on a restart. Let's take a look at what happened. Oh my goodness, that's a disaster. It's Ramon, Smith, and Sanchez. Ramon gets loose, then Sanchez into Logan, and then just accordioned him. Just wrong place, wrong time, stuck in the middle of that as Sanchez got into the back of him. And I tell you what, Keegan, I think that Logan Smith is pretty sick of seeing that Eastern Shore Community College paint scheme, or it's not just Eastern Shore, but that same gray paint scheme with those colorful lines on it. It was
definitely sick of restarts, I can tell you that.
It definitely is, but rough break for Logan there. Obviously, you would expect most people to stay out here unless you have some damage repairs to do after not even half a lap of green flag racing. But that's what we were worried about. Is you mentioned cautions breeding cautions. If that's going to happen here, what do you have to end up doing if you keep getting caution after caution after caution? How many of these before you maybe do think about pitting?
Well, I mean, and the restarts as well. I mean, every time you cycle these tires and restarts, you're doing more damage than, just running laps on the field. But I mean, these restarts just create those opportunities for these guys to make mistakes. And if we get restart after restart after restart, if you can just hit your marks and stay out of the chaos, you can capitalize big time. And, without even running 5 green flag laps, you can find yourself up 8 positions, So very interesting to see how these guys will handle kind of this restart here. If they'll be, more eager to push with about 67 laps left, or if they'll kind of be patient and get settled in and start, riding out the rest of this race.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see, but it's been extremely interesting so far. I've liked this tire wear, Keegan. I think it's made your racing good. We've seen a lot of people coming together. We've seen a lot of people off the wall, but I think the guys have been cleanest tonight, other than maybe the exception of the 99, who's been a little loose and all over the place, but has driven better as the race has gone on, I will say. But most of your drivers who've been clean all day are up front, and especially, I think that really goes for Andrew McGill, who's back into the top 10 again. He's been clean pretty much all day.
Yeah, I mean, like we mentioned earlier, he's just going to hit his marks, run his race. You know what you're going to get with him. So, I mean, it's just a veteran driver doing veteran driver things. And if this thing gets really chaotic, especially at the front later in the race when these guys are pushing for, the win, I mean, you could see Andrew McGill come out in a way better position, maybe a top 5 or even better if he can, handle and hit his marks correctly.
We'll definitely have to see. We mentioned he did have one top 10 Chicagoland earlier this year. Excuse me. Earlier this year. We'll see if he can hold on to that top 10 position for the rest of this one, but Reese Bayham right now is back up to 12th. You see that 334. Managed to avoid that wreck, and with how many people were caught up in that, you have to expect he's going to gain some positions that way. You see him right behind McGill here in this outside line, but Auburn running order right quick. Andrew McGill, we've mentioned him. He's in 10th. Reese Bayham in 12th, and then to finish it out, Logan Smith in 19th and Ryan Smith in 22nd. You see Ryan down there on the bottom line as Logan's catching back up, but I got to think Ryan Smith is, unless he's gone a lap down, I got to think he's higher than 22nd based on where that car is in the running order. But we're getting ready for another restart here as Bowman's looking for the restart zone again. We've seen him take off quite a few times as we got one more lap under the pace car, but I would expect that he does the exact same thing and really gets another jump on this front row. But this time you get Tyler Skozen on the inside line right with him. So would you almost rather be second on the inside than first on the outside today, Keegan?
I mean, we've seen the outside be the most loose and squirrely car on these restarts, probably trying just to match the speed of the inside and match the restart perfectly. But if the 78 gets loose here, yeah, I expect Skozen just to take advantage and just run him down into turn 1 and hope he gets clear.
One car I'm extremely curious to watch on this restart is that 222. Third on the inside, Austin DeLong. You've seen him driving back up through this race for most of the day. The Pennsylvania College of Technology alum has been pretty rapid today. I think probably one of the fastest 5 or 6 drivers in this race so far, and now he's got right back up to the front. And Jake Cummings, too, we mentioned needs a good day today. Outside row 3, 6th right now for the 95. A little bit closer to where he expects to be, I think, as we'll head off turn 4, get ready for this restart again. Bowman, Lyman, Skozen, Savignano, DeLong, Cummings, Carrera, Perez, Winters, and McGill, your top 10. Into the restart zone and gone once again is James Bowman. Skozen gets the throttle down pretty well on the inside, but Lyman holds on in that outside lane. I think the 78 is going to be clear. And let's take a look at third. You see Savignano right around the outside of Tyler Skozen. So I think Skozen just might be struggling a bit in general on restarts today, as you saw him lose more places there despite that preferable inside line down the front straightaway. But Savignano, you got to think, is going to be making a move for the lead here shortly with the pace of that 99, or at least right in the back of Lyman for second, who is trying to close in on Bowman, but you see him slow off the corner. Here comes Savignano. Again, this one groove line in 1 and 2, it's difficult to do anything with, but if you can just keep it off the wall, turn down the banking, and get the run right there towards turn number 3, that's where you need to be strong. As there goes, I believe that's Miguel Carrera in the back of the screen, off the wall and down onto the bottom of the track. He does keep it straight. We will stay green, but goodness, that's a big bounce. Let's take a look at Bayham, who is back up to 8th right now. Just got by Andrew McGill. As you see, the 334 has moved back up into 8th place. So good restart from Bayham. I believe that's up 4 already off the restart. Now back towards the front of the field, battle for third. Lyman and Skozen are right together, and Savignano just got by them. You see 4 cars under a blanket into turn 3. Lyman on the bottom, Skozen on the outside. Here comes the 28 back off of turn number 4, trying to get that run. Going to side draft the 78. DeLong is going to have a great run into turn 1, but nowhere to go. 3 wide into turn 1 at Darlington for sure. There's Skozen into the wall. Skozen off of the 78 of Lyman. That's going to check up DeLong. I think DeLong thought he could stay in the outside line, but after the second time off the wall, it was just too much pace off for Skozen. He's going to fake to the inside, head to the outside, try to get the run on Lyman through 3 and 4. This is the most difficult part of the track, the middle of 3 and 4. You got to keep the pace up. Skozen's loose. Skozen's in the wall. There goes the 28. He's going to hold on to it, but big time loose off the corner. DeLong is going to go by. Right, Cummings is almost going to go by. Gets into him. Look at the run back into the corner from the 28. He's in the wall again and again and again. Is the 28 of Skozen. He can't keep it off the wall.
Yeah, I don't think that car. I think he got into the wall hard. That car does not feel like it's handling as well as it was 2 laps ago.
No, he's dropping like a rock right now, down to 11th. And now let's jump back up. As there goes Coonan to the wall. Coonan going backwards now. Everyone is in the wall right now. Let's jump back to the front. Let's take a look at Bayham and Brown and Cummings, who are all right together. You see this wad of cars. It's Bayham right in front of McGill, right behind Aaron Brown. We saw it not go well last week with Brown next to an Auburn driver. Let's see if Bayham can make that not the case this week, as they're both behind Jake Cummings too. Brown just got by Bayham, and once again, it feels like when this 334 gets into a bit of a hornet's nest, sometimes that's where it's a struggle for him. I think he has the pace by himself, and he definitely has the pace one-on-one with most guys, but when it starts to be 3 and 4 wide, I think he prefers being a little bit more conservative, which most of the time has been a benefit, but today it feels like he's just unlucky with it. You see Cummings in the wall. Bayham going to go for the move to the inside. Here goes Bayham. Cummings going to drive it deep in. I'd be impressed if he keeps that off the wall, and he's going to. Going to keep it in the outside line. Bayham trying to come back at him. As you see Skozen on McGill right behind the two of them. Bayham still in the tire tracks of Cummings, as Skozen is not going to be able to make that move right there. McGill, good line into 1 and 2 to hold on to that position, as Bayham trying to make a move once again on Jake Cummings down this backstretch. Going to remain right behind him, Keegan, as Skozen goes for the inside on McGill.
Yeah, and as we've gotten later into this race, especially in turns 1 and 2, you're seeing guys as Skozen able to just keep the momentum and just get your throttle sooner and clear a McGill there. But we're just seeing guys, they're entering way lower in 1 and 2 just because they want to save their car. They know they can carry more speed on the outside, but you just see them time and time again entering lower in 1 and 2 just to hope they can keep it off the wall. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I do think it's been less cars into the wall just because they've all adjusted, kind of entered a little lower.
Yeah, I completely agree. I will say I think Bayham is faster right now than Jake Cummings. You see Skozen catching both of them as there's Cummings in the wall. Bayham going to turn down low, trying to complete this move. It's so difficult to do. They're off the fours. Cummings gets in the wall again.
He's clear.
And that'll complete the pass for Reese Bayham up into 7th. 6/10 back of Aaron Brown, as he is also 6/10 back of Perez in the 80 car, who's had quite the run off this last restart, Keegan. Kind of appeared out of nowhere into the top 5.
Yeah, I tell you what, that 16 of Aaron Brown, we haven't mentioned him much at all, but I mean, his teammate Edward Sanchez was leading this race earlier, so these cars have a good setup. And with him now being 6th, I mean, what does he have in store?
I don't know, but I will say, Keegan, it caught me out too. They are in the same paint scheme. They are not teammates despite it. So,
never mind then.
A little bit of trickeration there. As this is, Cummings in the wall hard. As Skozen's going to have to take the low line to get away from that, as that was hard content. You got to imagine there's damage to the 95. McGill's loose off of turn 2. Let's take a look at McGill as he's going to get swapped down the backstretch and into turn 3. Sanchez trying to make a move on him. Sanchez going to complete the pass there. Lambert's now looking for another spot on McGill, trying to drop him down to 12th place. You see all over the back right now of that 034 car is the 43, but I will say that's been Andrew's best spot all day, is the entrance to turn 1. He does get caught off the corner a lot of times, but he can at least give himself a bit of breathing room into turn 1 a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, just great defensive driving, mirror driving, not letting anybody, he's forcing the guy behind him to have to make an excellent pass to get past him. Not just carry momentum and go around him, but actually work to pass him.
Yeah, you see Lambert trying to do it again. Does he go to the bottom into turn 1? We haven't seen anyone do that all day because it's so difficult to run multi-groove through 1 and 2, especially with how tight these guys are getting in the center of the corner. And you see McGill keeping it off the wall. That's what you want to do right there. Back down the banking, clip that kind of final apex of the dotted line, and really carry the run down this Boeing backstretch here at Darlington. There goes Lambert to the bottom. Was that contact? It looked close. McGill going to hang out on the outside. Lambert still trying to make something happen on the bottom below McGill, and those two are going to be side by side. Almost no Lambert going to tuck back in line headed into turn 1, but let's jump back up to Reese Bayham in 7th, who is all over the back of Aaron Brown right now, who has almost caught Sebastian Perez. You see the two of them still right on each other. Does Bayham go left into 3 again? No, he's going to hold back, take the top line, try to gather momentum here as he heads by that Goodyear billboard. And
he'll have the momentum off the corner.
Here's the big run. We've seen it all day. He waits till turn 3. I would expect nothing different here. There it is. Brown, a little bit lower of an entry. Bayham keeps that higher line, keeps it clean, and look at the run he's going to have off here. He's going to catch him in the wrong spot, though. Almost too good of a run for Bayham off the corner, and I think he had to check up on the exit because of how much he closed on Brown.
Yeah, was able to get to throttle sooner, had what he wanted, but Bayham turned left, or Brown turned left and just cut him off right there.
He's got a good run here, though. You see to the inside of the 16 goes Bayham, down towards turn number 1. We've seen it's difficult to pass in the bottom here. Brown going to drive it in deep, hang on to the outside lane. You see Bayham slip up into the wall. That low entry is just so difficult to do here at Darlington. It's so tight of a radius to have to work with how narrow the groove is, as Brown now looking for a move on Sebastian Perez in front of him. They're going to be nearly side by side at a turn 4. You expect the crossover here from Brown. Ooh, the 80's loose. Perez extremely loose. Bayham just going to bump drive Sanchez here. Just stay calm. I like the idea. You don't want to be 3-1. Don't want to squeeze. Perez squeezed Bayham up into the wall into turn number 1. As you look at that 334, again, just thinking, what do I have to do to get by a guy cleanly today? And we do have a caution on the track here at Darlington. An incident has occurred somewhere on the track. Take a look back, see if we can find what happened. I would bet it has something to do with this 43 at Trey Lambert. We saw Lambert running close to McGill. You see him behind McGill, and here's the 40 of Matt Gagnon. Just drives it in too deep, hits the wall, and then Gagnon gets into him, just a bit awkward there. I think if you're Gagnon, you have to know you can't be that high on the track there with a car on the wall in front of you. The closing speed is just going to be too high, and Lambert spins after the contact as a result. But goodness, I want to go back and take a look at that turn 1 entry from Bayham and Sebastian Perez just a moment ago.
Yeah, I don't know if Perez just didn't see him or just got tight coming into the corner and had to just drift up the track, but
yeah, let's take a look at it right here. From Bayham, you see the 16 closing and they're both going to think they're going by on the outside, but here comes Perez back up the track and just slips up and bang into the wall for Reese. You wonder how much damage that caused to the right side of that 334, but we'll have to take, excuse me, we'll have to take a look here on pit stops as we're into the final 50 laps, just 47 to go here in Darlington, past lap number 100, and at an hour and 7 minutes in, Keegan, we're looking good to make it through on laps. You see the cockpit cam of Bayham getting walled there.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the car just got tighter. He didn't see him and just drifted up the track into him, into the wall. We've seen cars get into the wall like that on their own pretty hard. I don't think it'll affect Bayham's race car all that much. Hopefully not if you're Bayham, because you've just been involved in so much today.
Race off pit road here. It's going to be Bowman, then Savignano, Lyman, DeLong, Brown, Scozen. You see all the spots that Bayham's going to lose after that damage getting put into the outside wall. But what it is for me, Keegan, is at that point, Perez was so low down the entire straightaway after the moment off of 4 that by the time he actually got back up the track, he had choked off his entry point so much that he was practically driving towards that Goodyear sign.
Yeah, just couldn't get the car turned left enough to even make the corner. At that point, it sucks, but you just got to lift. You've got to tap the brake, lift. You're giving up that corner in those spots. I mean, you got loose. You know, it's racing. You know.
Yeah, unfortunately, once again, Bayham caught up in an incident that'll put him back outside the top 10 for what feels like the 5th or 6th time tonight.
I'll tell you what, when it's all said and done, he may not win, but he is sure past the most amount of cars Reese Bayham has.
We call it the Ryan Blaney Award for most things out of your control go wrong and you have to pass everyone in the field twice. But we'll see how far back up the order he can get. I will say Savignano on the front row is going to be interesting here. See if he can maybe be the first guy to get this outside of row 1 to work, as he's going to be next to James Bowman. Bowman, you have to say, class the field today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, now Savignano may have gotten slowed down a little bit, just enough for Bowman to eke out a gap last time when we went green, just trying to get past those top 4 cars. So with him being on the outside, it'll be a real challenge for Bowman here. And Bowman's been perfect on almost every restart. I mean, can he keep it up? I think so. I mean, he just looks really good on restarts, so just expect him to kind of take off again right here as we go green this lap.
I still can't believe the 16 and the 26 aren't teammates, Keegan. The identical livery, you would think they're teammates, but little bit of a magic trick there with those two guys, keeping the audience on their toes. Is let's head out of turn 4 and get this race restarted. And Keegan, I have a feeling we're about to see this 18 jump out once again in the restart zone. There he goes. Yep. James Bowman's gone once again. Savignano on this outside line is going to try to stay in front of Lyman, and he does fairly easily. Good restart from the 99. He's been quick all day. I will say this is the first time that we've seen a Toyota up at the front in one of these CIL Cup races, really in the mixer, and you see he's already pretty close to the back of James Bowman, and I think that 99 has some excellent pace in it if he can just keep it from being a little bit too loose like we saw earlier.
I did too, and I think he's kind of noticed.
Oh, Sanchez up on the wall. Sanchez up in the wall. He's going to hold on to it. Out of turn number 4. There goes Bayham by him again. Let's keep this on Reese here as Gagnon's going to try to look inside. Not quite going to work as Bayham is going to hold on to this, but goodness, incidents around the 334 all day long. You see Andrew McGill is back up into 9th. Just steady Eddie all day long from McGill in the top 10. Bayham now going to try to close in on Lee Winters in that beautiful number 37 for a top 10 spot.
Yeah, and with 43 laps to go, I mean, we're at an interesting point. We just had a caution, so everyone's on fresh tires. But what do you do from here?
Well, I think what Reese is thinking about doing is a pass into turn 3. As you saw, he got really close, had to check up a bit into 1, but look at the run he's going to get off of here. Watch this 334 out of turn number 2, closing on the 37. They're both closing on McGill. Let's see where everyone decides to go. Right in the tire tracks. Just good mirror driving from 37. You saw Bayham get really tight there. Back up to the outside, trying to get the run off of 4. The problem is all day, you really want to be good off of 2. If you're good off of 4, it's so hard to do anything with it. But if you're good off of 2, it sets you up for really your more multi-groove corner in 3 and 4. As let's see what Bayham can do this time. I think he's got the run. Expect the left turn. There he goes to the inside of Lee Winters down into turn number 3. Here goes Reese Bayham again. Can he clear the 37? Not quite. In mid-corner, though, he's going to get him.
Yeah.
37 had to lift, got tight, and I think Bayham might think about a move on McGill next time into 3 and 4, as these are your top 2 Auburn runners right now, both in the top 10. And look at the pace from Bayham in the middle of this corner. Back down the banking. You see he's able to turn back down that banking earlier than anyone else really around him to the inside of McGill. We'll see what McGill does into 3. You got to imagine civil racing between teammates, and there it is. Reese Bayham all the way by, up into 9th position is, I feel like I've said this a lot today, Bayham on the move back forward.
Yeah, and it's like you just said. I mean, it's almost, you're passing in turns 3 and 4, but you're doing all the work in turns 1 and 2. Your exit off turn 2 is more important than your entry into turn 3, I believe. And I mean, these guys, or especially Bayham, is just showing you time and time again why turn 1s or 2, they're not the passing corners, but they're the passing corner, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it reminds me of what we saw from Tyler Reddick in the last run on Sunday's Cup Series race, where he could just turn that 45 earlier than anyone else in the corner and get back to the throttle. Yeah. That feels like what you've seen from, I would say, Bayham, Savignano, and Bowman today are the 3 best at being able to really hit that second apex in turn 2. As you see right here, let's take a look at it. Right on that cookout line, and once you get to the Darlington board there, you want to turn back down, and then right there where your dotted white lines end on the bottom of the corner, you want to clip that as you come back across, treat it almost like an apex at a road course where you clip that bottom line. As you see Cummings in the wall in front of Bayham. Let's ride on board with the driver, the 334 right now, and let him take you for a lap around Darlington. Start-finish line. Now into turn 1, you see a little bit of a lower entry. Let the car wash up. Hold off on the throttle, hold off, then pick it back up. Now you see that early turn down. There's the line you want to clip right through there. That tightening radius off the corner, carry the momentum down through here. You see you're still in 5th gear. You're not going to downshift. You're not in qualifying. Just really roll out of it. You don't want to jump back in too early. That's how you hit the outside wall here in 3 and 4. Just stay on the bottom, consistently roll back into the throttle. You don't want to go full throttle too quickly here at Darlington. It's really important to be smooth with every single thing you do. As you see back up towards the wall, and again, just is able to turn down so much earlier. It gives him such an advantage off of turn 2. You see him close and close and close towards the back of Cummings here. See if he goes outside or inside. It's going to be inside this time. You see the 95 wash up. Bayham to the bottom. This run through the middle of the corner where he's been so good all day. Had to check up right there, you saw, as Cummings got a run off the corner. You see him in the wall there slightly. But Keegan, it's just really a great example of what you have to do to get a car to work well here in Darlington.
Yeah, and this turn in 1 and 2, they call it diamond. And from that camera angle, you really saw how much more of the track he's able to use. He gets lower on turns 2 and 4 than almost any other car we've seen, and is because of that is able to get to the throttle sooner and carry more momentum out of the corner.
Yeah, you hear about when you're at a road course with hairpins, you want to double apex the corner. Turns 1 and 2 here is essentially that, where you have your initial apex on the entry, you let the car wash up, you pick up the throttle, then you turn back across the banking, hit that second apex, and then you can really accelerate out. Let's take a look at some battling here. Tyler Skozen up in 5th. He's right behind Aaron Brown, who continues to work his way forward, and then he's got Austin DeLong and Sebastian Perez very close behind him right now. This entire wad of cars is all really close together. You see DeLong trying to work the bottom line, but really everyone right now is trying to work the bottom line. It's a bit more conservative right now from these guys, even with 33 to go. I know the bottom lane uses a little bit more tire, but I think everyone's more concerned about using up the right side of their bodywork right now.
Yeah, keep it off the wall, keep it clean. You'll probably have one more pit stop, I'd imagine, with 33 laps left. So
definitely have one more caution, you would think.
Yeah, so I mean, at this point for track position, that time on pit road is going to be more crucial than any tire wear you probably put on these tires.
Yeah, you definitely want to minimize your time on pit road as much as you can. Oh, DeLong off the wall there, has to go down. And does it happen to Perez what we saw him do to Bayham right there as we go into turn 1, as Perez is able to keep that around the outside of DeLong, but you almost saw the same thing with the car having to go back up the track late and clip that front of the corner and just slide up. As let's see what Cummings and Bayham decided to do here as the 222 still a bit slow. Bayham still trying to work the bottom.
Yeah, Cummings doing a great job on corner entry, just kind of blocking his line. Ooh, and
Perez down from the bottom again. Yeah. Does he get back up the track in time? There goes the 80 into the corner.
Ooh, reminiscent, but
goodness, DeLong's car blinked out right at the time where I think he got walled. You saw the sparks there. 222 trying to hang on the outside. Cummings, oh, we got a win. Bayham again gets caught up in it. Reese Bayham cannot catch a break today. As you see the front nose of that Chevrolet caved in on the 334. Oh my goodness, Reese Bayham, do not buy a lottery ticket at the Waffle House after this one.
Yeah, I mean, man. If we had the ability, I'd love to go to some radio right now, but we just don't have that in the broadcast. But yeah, tough day for Reese Bayham.
Let's take another look at this. Off the back stretches, DeLong and Perez just got into a mess. Jake Cummings tried to go low to avoid it, and then you'll see it from the onboard of Reese Bayham here. Yeah, let's take a look. You see, here's the onboard from Jake Cummings. As you see, Perez on the bottom, DeLong on top. They get into each other. Perez backs off as he's trying not to spin DeLong, and then Cummings dives low. And at that point for Bayham, there was just really nowhere to go, as you'll see from this angle here, because he can't see DeLong right now. Cummings dives low, and at this point, they just wreck right back up into him, which, another one on the bingo card. Third time today, I've said, they've wrecked right back up into him in reference to Reese Bayham. Is you got to imagine, you talked about the time it takes to repair damage on pit road. Look at how bad this nose is caved in on that 334. That's going to be some significant repair time.
Yeah, and with we'll probably go green with 26, 27 laps left. I mean, at this point, I mean, it's going to take a miracle for him to probably even crack the top 10 at this point. But this is the battle right here. This is where it's all going to be said and done. The battle off pit road. Who was able to keep their car clean, stay out of wrecks, stay out of the wall, and get off pit road before everyone else and just keep it clean for this last 25-ish laps.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the race off pit road. Is that Aaron Brown or Edward Sanchez? I think it's Aaron Brown off first. Then it's DeLong. Then Bayham with some wizardry in the pits. I guess opted not to fix the damage on that car. Otherwise, that's a lightning fast pit stop.
Yeah, too tired maybe?
No, still caved in on that 334. He said, let's just run it with the caved in nose, which I don't hate it.
No.
He's up into third now, as Aaron Brown will lead Jake Cummings in second, Reese Bayham third, and Keegan, this is going to be an interesting restart for James Bowman.
Yeah, been the best on restarts all day, led the field all day, but now he's got to get past some cars. Now, Aaron Brown made up, 5 spots? Well, I think he was running 6. Oh, we had the wreck in front of him.
Yeah, and we haven't seen the 16 in the wall that much either. So I think that's big too, as I'm extremely curious to see what kind of restart Reese can get out of this car. He's going to be inside second row. You see Bowman outside second row. And I will say the two guys in the front row we've seen struggle on restarts this year. Obviously the infamous disaster last week with Aaron Brown in the first gear restart. And then Jake Cummings had an incident at Auto Club off a restart. So these are two guys who've had their own struggles going green. And then in the second row, you got the damaged Reese Bayham machine. And second row outside and third row outside, or who I would argue were two of the fastest 5 cars today in Bowman and Skozen. But both of them, we've seen the outside line struggle off the start all day. But do they pick it back up in the corner? This is going to be so interesting as the pace car gets ready to pull in here.
Yeah, let's see how well Bowman can handle this restart. In the class, he's good on restarts, but can he do it from the outside?
Back into the restart zone, and away goes Aaron Brown. You saw Jake Cummings at least get away straight. Bayham still in the bottom on that second row. He's got Savignano right behind him. The 99's loose. Bayham trying to hold on to it. Bayham gets into Cummings. Cummings sideways as Bayham and Brown get by, but that time it was not Reese Bayham as the innocent bystander. That time just got a little too close, and Jake Cummings is going to pay the price on that one. As let's take another look at it. You see all these cars together. Let's watch it from the 95. As you see right up on top, goes to the outside line. Bayham trying to keep it there, just got tight and got tight into the quarter panel of the 95, who then got into the 99. James Bowman got into the wall trying to get around that. So a lot of your top cars involved in that incident. If we can, I'd love to take a look at that from the onboard of Reese Bayham to see what he saw on that restart. We'll take a look at the 034 here of Andrew McGill there on this restart, see what happened. As now here's the onboard from Bayham. You see Cummings right next to him and just gets tight into the quarter panel of the 95. And that was all she wrote for the wreck, but
and that just could be his nose, just doesn't have the turn that he had before. And,
tighter than you expect with the caved in.
And that's the first corner he's ran with his new bodywork.
Yeah. as we look further back down the field here is from Tyler Skozen. As you see, just good instincts there. Get out of the way for Tyler Skozen down to the bottom. And that's why he's third in points right now, is we've seen him avoid these wrecks and be clean with it a lot of the time. Just good instincts is, I will say, you do potentially worry about that incident. I know Bayham's been an extremely clean driver, but you worry, does that get ruled as an EOL for the start of next race? I kind of doubt it based on the fact that it's on a restart. You're all in a wad there, but you never know sometimes. So that's something to keep an eye on for next week.
And this is what we mentioned earlier in the race. When it gets down to the wire, like we are here with 25 laps left, these guys are going to be fighting extra hard, especially on these restarts. And I don't think this is going to be the last caution flag we have.
Oh, no, definitely not. As we're now at an hour and 22 minutes, so 23 minutes left to go in this one, 25 laps. We might be thinking about the time limit at this point if we keep getting cautions. And one thing we got to keep in mind too, Keegan, that caught us out last week is we got to make sure we call it to the end of the race with 0 laps to go instead of 1 lap to go.
And we called it the white flag last time.
Yeah, but thankfully nothing changed after that. It was still Brian Ferretta taking home the win there. But as we get ready for this restart, I'm a bit nervous for Reese here. He's in the outside line on the front row, which has not gone all day long. He's got the damage, so you'd expect it to be tight into turn 1. He's going to be on the outside. It's more difficult to run the outside when you're tight, especially in the center. I know he's been good in 1 and 2 all day.
Oh, does he have an end of line now?
I think he does have a penalty now. I think that's going to be a penalty for the 334. So Bayham dropping to the back. Obviously unfortunate, but I kind of get it there. As he's dropped back a few positions. That might not be a penalty. That might just be, as now we're looking at Andrew McGill here. No, that is a penalty. Sorry. Wrong 3-digit car with a 34 at the end for me. So it is a penalty for Bayham as he drops back. But Andrew McGill now back up into 6th as once again just steady and clean all day long. You got to wonder if with this Hornet's nest he's going to be in. If he can keep it that way, but if he can, he might be on for his best finish of the season. His previous best was 10th. As let's jump back up to the front row here. As it's Aaron Brown and Sebastian Perez getting ready to come back to green here. And look at the restart on the outside for Perez. Oh, he lost it. So that was a second gear restart for Perez, and he lost it. Bowman hit him. You got to imagine that's going to be a caution. Still no caution on the screen. As it's gonna stay green somehow, but there's the wreck. As I guess Bowman kept it going straight, and with Perez being out of the session immediately, we kept it green. But Aaron Brown now in the lead. That's given him a 6/10 of a second lead over Tyler Skozen in second. But Keegan, I'm willing to bet money that was a second gear restart.
Yeah.
Trying to get going in the outside line and just lost it. But how about Andrew McGill in 3rd? Here he is in his potentially his first podium of the year.
Yeah, I mean, big winner, Andrew McGill. Big loser, James Bowman. Class of the field, but just got tagged up in that mistake on the restart. And what could have been an interesting battle for the lead. Now he's with 22 to go. He's got to make up some dire time.
Yeah, he's sitting in 5th right now. About, what is that, 1.6 seconds back of the lead right now for James Bowman. Is you got to imagine he's going to be driving as fast as he can in that 18, trying to get back through. And McGill, I would expect to be a little bit of a cork in the bottle here. He's been consistent all day long, but has not had the pace of your James Bowmans today. Spent most of the day around 10th, but still, if he can hold on to a top 5 spot, 22 to go, 21 to go, as we head back to the start-finish line, and McGill still hanging on in 3rd, but look at the run these guys get on him out of the corners.
And we know he's a hard car to pass, too. We've seen that today. So you know he's going to make these guys work, and just they're going to have to, but like you mentioned, just the pace maybe not there. These guys will get the momentum. See, there you go again. He goes inside a little bit, blocks the momentum.
Look at Bowman. Bowman to the inside in turn 3, trying to get by Gagnon. He's going to go all the way down to that dotted white line. Gagnon trying to make it work on the outside. Bowman gets a great run through 4. That is an extremely impressive 3 and 4 to stay level on the exit. But the problem is 1 and 2. Where do you go if you're Bowman? Do you go right by if you're Bowman? Look at James Bowman on the bottom of 1 and 2. That's a power move from the Kentucky driver. Trying to get to Andrew McGill now into turn 3. Does he go to the bottom again? McGill blocks. Bowman going to drift up the track, try to build the momentum and cut back down on a turn 4. Here comes the 18 on the 034 out of turn 4. To the left goes James Bowman. McGill going to hold his line. You would expect the power move once again into turn 1. Here goes Bowman.
Just able to get to
Look
the
at
throttle
the drive
so much
from
quicker.
the 18. That is an outstanding effort from James Bowman to get by McGill and Matt Gagnon in that manner in a way we have not seen done all day. Look at Edward Sanchez to the inside at turn number 3 on Gagnon. That's for 5th place between the 40 and the 26. He's still just right behind McGill here. And you mentioned he's a difficult car to pass because you can't go by in 1 and 2. Well, that's if your name's not James Bowman, Keegan.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been able to see that all day because he's just been out of 3 seconds. And
Caution on the track. See what happened is once again just another caution flag, and there's the culprit right there. Is that Jake Cummings? It is. Let's take a look at what happened to the 95 as he did his best fidget spinner impression down the front stretch. Let's see, into turn number 3. Does he just lose it? Tight up into the wall, off the wall, trying to hold on to it. You see the damage as there comes Lambrecht, and Lambrecht just finishes him off out of 4. They get together, and it just ensues from there, we'll say, between Lambrecht. I think a little bit of frustration boiling over for Jake Cummings down the front stretch there after 3 races where 2 of them he's been caught up in wrecks that were not his fault, and 1 of them he had his own incident. But goodness, the horror stretch of 3 weeks for the 95 continues.
Now we're at an interesting breaking point here. These tires aren't per se old, but they've had a few cycles on them, and with about 14 to go when we get green, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to do what they're all doing, and that's pit for tires. I think tires are so important here, it's difficult not to. Doing my best Larry McReynolds impression. What do? We need 4 tires every time. Coming down pit road.
Well, we saw earlier with DeLong, Savignano, and Bayham just how much. I mean, those tires were only 7 to 8 laps older or newer, but they made such a big difference crawling through the field.
I will say I'm on the lookout for anyone taking just right sides here, because it's not been as long of a run as we've seen. Do we see any quick stops? Let's keep an eye down pit road. Does anyone take 2 tires? Ooh, James Bowman and Aaron Brown have stayed out, by the way. James Bowman, Aaron Brown, Matt Gagnon have all stayed out. I think Sanchez and Corbin might have as well. As there comes Skozen off the pit road. So yeah, your top 6 drivers have stayed out. Andrew McGill is going to be in 8th, the second of the cars that just pitted. I wonder if Reese is going to take the time to fix the damage on that 334 car now. You mentioned it does look like it with how long he's in that pit box. Just try to get some tires on it. You see Ryan Smith and the 82 machine behind him on pit road there too. But I am so curious to see how this plays out with your top 6 on older tires. Yeah, Aaron Brown has been fast all day. James Bowman, the best car today. I think you would agree. Matt Gagnon in 3rd, we just saw in the top 5. Same for Edward Sanchez, who's in 4th. Cade Corbin, we've not heard much from today, was in an incident earlier, now finds himself in 5th. And then Austin DeLong, who we know is fast, had to repair damage from that incident that caved in the front of Reese Bayham's nose, and now finds himself on older tires in 6th. But importantly, not as old of tires as the other guys in front of him. I think he is in between this top 5 and the guys behind him because of the wreck.
Yeah, I'm most interested to see this 28 car on this restart. This is the first time really all day we've had a mixed bag in the top 10 on a restart with brand new tires and some slightly old tires. So I'm really curious to see how big of a deal these tires will play. And I think these 28 will give us a pretty good idea pretty quickly.
Well, if we can get through with no cautions, which I would almost bet the world does not happen, we do still look good to be inside of the time limit of an hour 45 today. Hour 31 right now with 13 to go, or
I think we're good.
I guess with the 0 laps thing, technically 14 to go when we get back to the line. But pace car's going to peel off. You see Brendan Lyman down on the bottom there. But getting ready to go again. Let's cut to the front and see if Aaron Brown can get off the line well here. It's going to be Brown and Bowman in row number 1, coming to the green. Can Bowman handle the outside? We've seen him be so good on the inside. Aaron Brown gets a good start. Bowman's on Edward Sanchez into the wall. Edward Sanchez into the wall behind these guys. Does everyone keep it clean behind him? No caution yet. We'll stay with the leaders. Bowman on the outside of Aaron Brown, trying to hang it out. Brown right with him. They're so close off of 2. Can they keep it clean? They can. Good driving from both of these top 2. Bowman trying to hold on the outside. We've seen him be so quick all day. Look at the dive from Aaron Brown. Going to try to clear him. He does. Wow. Good corner entry from the 16. Bowman back to the bottom, trying to cross him over. Bowman going to side draft down the front stretch. Then try to break the side draft as Brown gets back down towards him. Can Bowman pull off that power move again? He's going to stay on the quarter panel. Brown bounces off the wall. Gagnon right behind him. The hit of the wall is going to slow down Brown a little bit, but he's off the wall again. Bowman trying to stay down there. I think he had to lift when Brown hit the wall, and Gagnon's now right on his outside. Not where you want to be with a train of cars on your outside, but if anyone can hold on to it today, it's James Bowman.
And don't look now, that 28 on fresh tires has made his way to this battle.
Yeah, Tyler Skosen is flying right now, but James Bowman is back to the inside. Side by side in turn 1 for the lead again. Can Bowman hold it on the inside? Brown up into the wall. Bowman squeezing him. Fair but clean racing here between these top 2. Brown still right with him. James Bowman on the bottom trying to side draft. Is he going to go for the dive into turn 3? I would expect it. He's going to drive it in there. They're going to stay side by side. Good entry from Aaron Brown. Bowman has to check up, gets tight in the middle. Can he get a run off the corner? He's going to be with him again. Brown into the wall. They're still side by side heading down towards turn number 1. How deep do they drive it in? Brown on the outside is going to get the better entry. Can he clear him? He's close, he's close, he's clear. Aaron Brown clear into the lead. Matt Gagnon now back in third. Bowman a little bit slower off the back, but now can he build his momentum back up as Andrew McGill has cracked the top 5 on fresh tires. Skosen and McGill right behind these top 3, just sitting back and waiting, trying to use their tires. Aaron Brown still holding off James Bowman.
Yeah, I mean, that was incredible racing side by side for as many laps as they did. Now, if you're Bowman here, take a deep breath, go, okay, let's set him up here. We're not side by side. I'm behind him. Let's set him up, get some momentum. You see him, he got the corner, he got the run off the corner.
Trying to go for it again. Down on the bottom towards turn number 3. Here comes James Bowman once again. Brown has been so good on corner entry into turn 3. You see him pick it up in the middle. He has been very solid out there. Look at the drive off from James Bowman in the bottom line. That's exceptional driving off of turn 4.
Yeah, I think if Bowman can find a way to get around him and run his line on the outside, I think it's the race for Bowman. But Brown doing an incredible job.
They're still outside, Keegan. It's such good racing. Here comes Matt Gagnon right behind him.
What does he do?
He's going to sit there. You can't. It's too late to try to make it 3 wide from where he got to him on the straightaway. Brown had to check up a little bit, but he's going to get back to the throttle earlier as a result. Going to stay side by side with Bowman. Skosen is right with these guys too. Tyler Skosen still could win this race. As you see the 28 just sitting back there, still side by side for the lead. Middle of 1 and 2, Bowman on the quarter panel of Aaron Brown, trying to drive back to the bottom. He's going to lose ground. Aaron Brown is clear. Bowman's loose. Gagnon on the outside. He's making a move for second. There goes the number 40 into turn number 3. Skosen sitting right behind him, still looking for a move. The 28 cuts down the banking. He's going to have a run. Here comes Tyler Skosen out of turn 4. He bounces off the wall. James Bowman trying to side draft Matt Gagnon down towards turn 1. The 18 has to fall in line. Bowman back to the outside line, trying to keep the speed up as you see Tyler Skosen right behind him. Savignano has now joined the party in 5th as well. Here comes Bowman again. They're going to make contact. Couldn't quite get around cleanly of Matt Gagnon as here comes Savignano to the bottom. The 99 to the inside of the 28. Gagnon's in the wall. Aaron Brown is loving life out in the lead as these guys continue to battle, but he hasn't broken free yet. Still just 2 tenths out in front. 6 laps to go here at Darlington. James Bowman still trying to work that inside. Look at the run he gets through the middle of 1 and 2, right on the back of Matt Gagnon. Keegan, what are you seeing from this top 5 right now?
Matt Gagnon is doing an incredible job just mirror driving, putting his car exactly where Bowman doesn't want it. You saw it last lap where he went down and blocked him, but unable to get to the bottom this time. Bowman down to the inside, but just the momentum on the outside carrying Gagnon. We've seen the power on the inside from Bowman, but within these top 3 cars, it's just incredibly hard to make that move work. But off the run, off 4, has him inside. He's going to try his power move that we've seen time and time again.
He's clear.
He's clear.
James Bowman is clear. James Bowman into second. You saw Tyler Skosen off the wall outside of turn 4. Savignano's now right behind him. They make contact. Gagnon is back to third now. Skosen and Savignano side by side for 4th. Savignano trying to make the move into turn 3. He's going to slide job him. Savignano clear up into turn 3. He gets 4th position. Andrew McGill has fallen down to 7th. Reese Bayham runs 9th. Logan Smith 13th. And then Ryan Smith is 15th right now. So all your Auburn drivers still running respectably right now. But let's cut to the lead with 4 to go. Aaron Brown has a 0.3 of a second gap out front right now to James Bowman. Bowman trying to close in that number 18. He has been closing every single lap. This gap continues to come down. We got a caution. Caution with 4 laps to go. It was coming back to 3 to go. Let's take a look at what happened. We rewind here.
And no surprise, Bayham's involved.
Or he's been unlucky there as we continue to take a look back through the field and find out what happened. There's Ryan Smith. Not quite sure what brought out this caution, Keegan. We haven't been able to find anyone spinning.
Track looks pretty clean. Saw the 43 on pit road.
It's a ghost caution.
It's a competition caution, I guess.
Yeah, the old competition caution with 4 to go. As we do have overtime in these races, as we found out at Auto Club. We're closing on the time limit too, but I think we should be good. Still about 7 minutes to go here in this one. Still yet to find out the cause of this caution, but we'll just call it a debris caution, I guess, or did something happen with Brennan Lyman? Oh, we found it! Brennan Lyman!
Let's see.
Here comes the 78. That's Ryan Smith in front of him. Ryan is going to stay on the outside. Here's Lyman trying to make a move on the inside of 1 and 2. Just hits Ryan Smith into the corner. Just hits Ryan Smith. So a little bit of a tough break for Ryan right there, but he should be able to at least maintain position, I would think. Because I doubt you're pitting now with 3 to go.
You've got what you got at this point. I don't care if you were just like screaming for your life with those tires on that last little stretch. I'd imagine we're going to overtime here. But if we're talking about the time, these drivers and crew chiefs are talking about the time, and they know, hey, this could be it. Even if we get another caution, this could be it for the restart. So these guys, you thought that racing was hard with 16 and 18 of Bowman and Brown, but it's gonna be fun this time.
It absolutely is. We'll take you through the Auburn running order right now. Andrew McGill runs 7th, your current highest Auburn Tiger. Reese Bayham runs 9th. Good rebound from him. This is why he's the points leader. He's gotten in, 5 wrecks today, and he's running 9th right now? Mm-hmm. Then Logan Smith, 14th, about where he's been most of the day. And then Ryan Smith, after that incident, runs 17th. You see him on pit road right now. I would expect that he can still stay in that position because you see most of the guys behind him are either out or significant laps down to this point. So Ryan probably going to wind up 17th today, but still a top 20 for the driver of the 82. As let's jump back to the live action. As here you see Andrew McGill running 7th. Let's jump to the front row here. And
it is officially green-white checker time. NASCAR overtime.
It's going to be 2 to go. As the lights on the pace car are off, this is what racing is about. I'm just kidding. Racing is about who's the fastest over a long period of time, and stage racing is ridiculous. And the fact that we have overtime in a motorsport is still interesting to me. But still, close racing is what motorsports is all about, Keegan. And we're going to get some close racing here, as it's going to be Aaron Brown and James Bowman. And we saw in the last restart, Bowman was able to hang enough with Aaron Brown. And you've got to imagine that's going to be the case again in this one. As a reminder, Aaron Brown started today's race with a 1-lap hold, got an early caution, and got back on the lead lap. Neither of these drivers have a win so far this season. Neither does Matt Gagnon. Neither does Anthony Savignano, and neither does Tyler Skozin or Austin DeLong or Andrew McGill. Someone's going to get their first win. Who's it going to be? We're back to green here at Darlington. Overtime, 2 to go. Aaron Brown gets away cleanly. James Bowman's right behind him. Savignano in 3rd in the 99. Not a good restart for Bowman. He's up into the wall. Does he get a good runoff too? Savignano is going to look at him, but I think if you're the 99, you have to stay calm as we got a car on the wall. Sanchez in the wall back there. He keeps it straight. We're still green. Coming to the white flag. James Bowman is on the bottom trying to work that line he's worked all day. Savignano a lane and a half up on him. Savignano trying to get a run. Is he going to bump draft and try to go for the lead, or is he going to go for second? Look at the run James Bowman has on a turn 4. He's going to be right behind Aaron Brown. This is going to be decided in the last corner, I think, Keegan.
Yep.
James Bowman has a good run off the exit at 2. He's right behind Aaron Brown. Savignano there to clean up in 3rd if they wreck. Here we come to turn 3. Aaron Brown trying to block. Brown stays in the middle of the track. Bowman's going to go down low. Can he make something happen? He tries to drive it in deep. Aaron Brown's going to hang on outside. Aaron Brown's going to hang on and win this one at Darlington. The 16 gets his first win of the year after starting a lap down today. Aaron Brown, your winner at Darlington, holding off James Bowman at the end. Anthony Savignano completes your podium today. Goodness, Keegan, what a race.
Well, I mean, what do we talk about the two most today? Restarts and keeping your car clean. How many times do we see the 16 into the wall, and he just handled those last two restarts perfectly from the front row?
He absolutely did. Your Auburn finishers today, Reese Bayham comes home 7th, only loses 2 spots to Tyler Scozen, and is going to gain big time on Brian Ferretta today, who finished 13th. That's points leader stuff right there. Andrew McGill gets his new best finish of the season, comes home 8th. What a run in the flu game for Andrew McGill today. Logan Smith comes home 10th. Ryan Smith comes home 15th. What a race today at Darlington.
Yeah,
the Southern 200 today absolutely delivered, Keegan. Some great racing we saw all day long, some guys bouncing off the wall. Let's see if we can talk to some of the Auburn drivers here after that one. And who I want to pull in first is Mr. Flu Game himself, Andrew McGill.
Let's do it.
Hey, Andrew, can you hear us?
I got you.
Hey, so absolutely interesting race today. You get your best finish of the season in an 8th place, and we called you Steady Eddie multiple times today because you seem to always be right there around 10th, just kept the car clean, and it ended up paying off for you today.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really like this racetrack a lot. It's really rewards the guys that don't go crazy and just try to save the right rear the whole time. So just trying to stay patient, let guys go that were faster than me, and I reeled a couple of them back in when I did that. So it was a lot of fun. I hate that that last caution came out. I thought that I was going to have a shot at a top 5, and then at one point I shipped it in the wall a little bit too hard there with my good old Darlington stripe and knocked the toe out a little bit. So I was at about 1 o'clock, closer to 2 o'clock going down the straightaway. But happy with the finish, happy that we got a good team performance tonight too.
Yeah, we were mentioning your possible top 5 there before that last caution, but what else we mentioned is you mentioned before this race, it's a flu race for you tonight. And how about your best finish of the year in the flu race?
I appreciate that. Yeah, our household's been hit with some illness, so I didn't know if I was going to make it. It was kind of a game time decision. I think I logged on about 10 minutes before qualifying started, so I didn't really get much of a warm up tonight. But it was a lot of fun. So glad I could make it.
Well, maybe you don't warm up before every race, just kind of.
It's been working well. Thank you for talking to us today. Congratulations on the top 10, War Eagle.
Thanks, guys. War Eagle.
All right, let's pull in Reese Bayham next, who I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about after that one.
You can count on it.
Hey, Reese, can you hear us? You're live right now on YouTube.
Yeah, I got you guys.
Hey, Reese. So obviously, I think not the finish you would have wanted today. Did manage to come back to 7th, but I believe you were involved in 5 or 6 wrecks, and not many of them seem to be on you today. Can you just take us through kind of the tornado you were in today?
Yeah, it's, I don't really have too many words, honestly. It's just really tough. I mean, I felt like I had probably the best car, if not, top 3 for sure. But yeah, I just couldn't stay out of trouble. I don't really have anything else to say.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us anyway. Congratulations on at least holding on to the points lead, but we'll see you back again next week, hopefully with a little bit better luck.
Yeah, thank you guys. War Eagle.
War Eagle. All right. That will do it for us today at Darlington. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Southern 200 was a blast. Congratulations to Aaron Brown on the victory. And Keegan, what are your final thoughts from that one?
I mean, that was better than the race yesterday, the Cup race, that being said. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you're just an iRacing fan in general, we have a lot of racing for you to consume this week. 12 hours of Sebring coming up this weekend. And Wednesday, we have another CIL race as well. So just super exciting things very, very soon.
Yep. But again, thank you all for tuning in. It's been exciting. We'll be back again next week for more CIL action. We got a road course next week. It's Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. next week in the CIL Cup Series. Keegan mentioned 12 hours of Sebring later this week. Make sure you guys are tuned in for that. It's going to be exciting. We've got a lot of drivers in, multiple teams, but as always, thank you to everyone who tuned in. This has been Auburn iRacing on YouTube. For Keegan Miller, I'm Micah Farmer, and we'll see you guys later this week for some Sebring action.